Buddhist teachers often tell us that karma is one of the most powerful forces in our lives. This isn't a mere philosophical abstraction. It's presented as an undeniable reality that subtly yet profoundly shapes the trajectory of our existence, influencing everything from our immediate experiences to our long-term relationships. They assert that karma plays a crucial role in our destiny, even dictating something as intimately personal as who we end up marrying. This perspective stands in stark contrast to popular Western notions of love and marriage, where personal attraction, romantic chemistry, or shared interests are perceived as the primary drivers behind marital unions. While many people genuinely believe they marry purely because of love at first sight or an irresistible attraction, Buddhist wisdom reveals that our marriages are in fact determined by much deeper, intricate forces that most individuals never truly comprehend or acknowledge. These forces operate beneath the surface of conscious awareness, weaving a complex tapestry of connections that stretch across lifetimes. The ancient teachings profoundly state that not everyone who touches your heart will stay, and not everyone who stays belongs to your heart. This poignant truth suggests that while fleeting affections and intense passions might ignite, they don't always translate into lasting unions. Conversely, some relationships endure despite emotional turbulence, bound by unseen ties. This challenges the conventional romantic ideal that love alone guarantees permanence or profound connection. Yet when two individuals ultimately decide to embark on the journey of marriage, it is from the Buddhist viewpoint, never just a coincidence or a mere accident. There is an underlying blueprint, a karmic momentum that draws them together. In the vast, intricate, and often mysterious unseen realm of karma, our choices are not always solely made by our conscious mind. While we might logically weigh pros and cons, assess compatibility, or feel an undeniable emotional pull, many of these seemingly personal decisions are in fact profoundly shaped by seeds planted long before we were even born. These karmic seeds, cultivated through countless actions, intentions, thoughts, and words in previous existences, ripen and manifest as the circumstances and relationships of our current life. It's a continuous dynamic process of cause and effect that transcends the boundaries of a single lifetime. As the Buddha meticulously taught us, everything that has a beginning has a cause, and everything that arises depends on something else. This fundamental truth, known as dependent origination, pratyasamutpada, is a cornerstone of Buddhist philosophy, explaining the interconnectedness and impermanence of all phenomena. It asserts that nothing exists in isolation. Everything arises in dependence upon other factors. This profound principle extends far beyond the physical world, illuminating even the mystery of why two souls come together in the sacred bond of marriage. It posits that their union is not arbitrary, but rather a complex interplay of ripening karmic conditions that bring them into each other's orbit at a very specific time. It's the culmination of shared histories and unresolved energetic exchanges from past existences. Therefore, the purpose of this exploration is to delve deeply into the deeper wisdom behind marriage and karma. By understanding these often overlooked truths, we can transcend a superficial view of relationships. This profound insight has the potential to transform your relationship dynamics, moving beyond mere happiness or personal fulfillment to a path of profound spiritual growth. Ultimately, embracing this wisdom can bring you lasting peace, a peace that stems not from the absence of challenges, but from a profound understanding of their purpose within the grand tapestry of karma. When most people contemplate marriage, their aspirations often revolve around finding their perfect match, someone who effortlessly makes them happy, seamlessly completes them, and fulfills their every emotional and practical need. The cultural narrative often paints a picture of a blissful union free from significant conflict, where two halves become a perfect whole. However, the Buddhist perspective offers us something far more profound and arguably more realistic and beneficial. Marriage from this vantage point is not merely about finding happiness or companionship, though these can certainly be welcome byproducts. Instead, it's primarily about encountering the person who will help you grow spiritually. This growth is often the most significant aspect of the union, serving as a catalyst for deep inner transformation, even if that personal and spiritual evolution comes through challenges and difficulties. According to Buddhist wisdom, love as commonly understood in its romanticized form is not always the sole or even the primary foundation of a marriage. This is a radical departure from mainstream thought. Instead, the motivations and underlying forces for union can be varied and complex. Sometimes we marry because of karmic debt. This doesn't imply punishment, but rather a profound need for balance. It might be a situation where past actions, whether intentional or not, created an imbalance, and the current relationship provides an opportunity for that imbalance to be redressed. This could involve repaying kindness received or settling a past hurt, often unconsciously. Sometimes we marry to learn important lessons. These lessons are often deeply personal, touching upon our core fears, attachments, patterns of behavior, or unresolved emotional wounds. The partner serves as the perfect teacher, presenting precisely the challenges needed for our spiritual curriculum. Sometimes our partner serves as a mirror, showing us everything we refuse to see about ourselves. This is one of the most powerful and often uncomfortable aspects of karmic marriage. Our partner, through their words, actions, and very presence, reflects our own insecurities, our unacknowledged flaws, our unhealed traumas, and the aspects of our shadow self that we diligently keep hidden from ourselves and the world. This mirroring, though painful, is essential for self-awareness and healing, and only sometimes marriage can be a path towards spiritual liberation. While all the above aspects contribute to growth, some rare unions are particularly aligned with the conscious pursuit of awakening. In these instances, the relationship is a deliberate and dedicated vehicle for both partners to transcend ego, cultivate compassion, and achieve profound spiritual freedom together. This nuanced understanding underscores that marriage is not merely a social contract or a pursuit of fleeting happiness. It is a profound spiritual crucible, a meticulously arranged classroom where the curriculum is tailored precisely to our soul's deepest needs for growth and awakening. To truly grasp the profound implications of karma in marital unions, consider a timeless scenario that resonates deeply within the human experience. Once there was a couple who, to all outward appearances, seemed very different from each other. Their temperaments clashed, their communication styles diverged sharply, and they found themselves entangled in frequent arguments, struggling relentlessly to truly understand one another. Observers, their friends and family members alike, often looked upon their tumultuous relationship with bewilderment, openly wondering why they stubbornly stayed together when they seemed so mismatched, when the apparent discord overshadowed any visible harmony. The prevailing societal expectation often dictates that if a relationship is a constant struggle, it should perhaps be abandoned in favor of one that offers more ease and less friction. One day, burdened by the persistent struggle and seeking an answer to the bewildering paradox of their enduring yet challenging bond, the husband sought out the counsel of a wise Buddhist monk. With a heavy heart, he poured out his frustrations, articulating the core of his dilemma. Why am I married to someone who challenges me so much? We love each other, or at least I believe we do, but our relationship feels like a constant struggle, an uphill battle that never seems to abate. He voiced the common human desire for comfort and ease within a partnership, implicitly questioning the very nature of their love in the face of such perpetual difficulty. The monk, embodying the serene wisdom that comes from deep understanding, smiled kindly at the man's earnest plea. His response, though simple in its phrasing, held a profound and liberating truth. My son, karma doesn't bind you to comfort, it binds you to clarity. This statement, deceptively straightforward, shatters the illusion that relationships are solely for personal gratification or emotional solace. Instead, it reframes the purpose of marriage, suggesting that its highest function is not to provide an easy path, but to illuminate our deepest truths. Comfort in this context can sometimes be a veil obscuring the very lessons we need to learn, whereas clarity, often born from friction, forces us to confront ourselves honestly. The monk continued, further dismantling the man's preconceptions. Marriage isn't about finding someone who completes you. It's about meeting the soul who triggers your unfinished work. This was a revelation for the man who, like many, had always harbored the romantic ideal that marriage should effortlessly complete him, filling in his perceived emotional or spiritual gaps. He had assumed that the true purpose of a spouse was to bring him happiness and wholeness without demanding significant internal effort. The monk's words implied a cosmic design, a spiritual curriculum embedded within the fabric of intimate relationships. He explained that somewhere, either in this very life or in a previous one, a karmic seed was planted between the two souls. This seed wasn't necessarily one of direct conflict, but perhaps an unresolved dynamic, an unlearned lesson, or a pattern of interaction that needed completion. That initial seed, dormant for a time, grew into a deeply ingrained pattern, an energetic blueprint for their future interactions. This pattern, like any subtle truth, needed a mirror to be seen clearly. Without external reflection, it might have remained hidden in the depths of unconsciousness, perpetuating unseen cycles of behavior. And precisely for this purpose, the monk concluded, that mirror appeared as your wife. Her very presence, her actions, and her responses were not arbitrary. They were meticulously tailored by karma to reflect the man's own unacknowledged patterns, his own unfinished work. In the intricate framework of Buddhist teachings, karma isn't just about simple actions in isolation. It's a holistic concept encompassing intentions, words, and deeds, and crucially, it's also about the results, or fruits phala, of those actions. Every volitional act, whether physical, verbal, or mental, creates an energetic imprint, a seed that will inevitably ripen into future experiences. The experiences we undergo in the present moment are therefore often the direct fruits of our previous intentions and actions. This principle of cause and effect means that what we sow, we eventually reap. This isn't a punitive system, but a self-regulating universal law of equilibrium and learning. From this perspective, the person you marry is not a random individual, but a specific manifestation of your past. They quite literally carry your unresolved karma, not as an act of cosmic punishment, but as a profound and precise opportunity to teach you important lessons. These lessons might be about patience, forgiveness, self-worth boundaries, compassion, or the nature of attachment. The challenges they present are not meant to inflict suffering for its own sake, but to bring to conscious awareness those aspects of your being that require healing and integration. The intensity of the relationship often correlates with the significance of the lesson. The stronger your karmic connection with someone, the more significant the lesson they are destined to bring. This explains why some of our most transformative relationships are also our most challenging. They are the ones that force us to grow the most, pushing us beyond our comfort zones into profound self-discovery. Ultimately, the Buddhist understanding of marriage is a profound reminder that you don't just marry a person, you marry your past with them. You marry the accumulated history of shared experiences, unresolved patterns, and intertwined destinies that span not just this lifetime, but potentially many previous ones. This isn't a fatalistic view, but a call to conscious engagement. By recognizing that your partner is a karmic mirror reflecting your own inner landscape, you gain the power to transform not just the relationship itself, but your own soul's evolution. It shifts the focus from blaming the other to understanding the self, from seeking comfort to pursuing clarity. Segment 3: Karmic Resonance, the echoes of past lives and present attractions. Have you ever found yourself wrestling with an inexplicable pull towards certain individuals? A magnetic force that sometimes defies all logical reasoning. Long before any marriage vows are exchanged, before conscious declarations of love are even considered, our hearts often feel profoundly drawn to specific individuals. This attraction can manifest in myriad ways. Sometimes it feels perfectly rational, aligning with our conscious preferences and shared interests. Other times, it's profoundly irrational, a visceral pull towards someone who on paper might not seem like a good fit. And occasionally, it's an undeniable, insistent tug that arises even against our better judgment, overriding the logical warnings of friends or our own inner voice of caution. Many people, particularly in modern romantic narratives, instinctively interpret this powerful draw as simply love or chemistry, believing it to be a pure, spontaneous blossoming of affection. However, Buddhist wisdom offers a far more intricate and expansive explanation, pointing to something called karmic resonance. This resonance is not a phenomenon born solely from the present moment. Instead, it arises from echoes that originated long ago in previous lifetimes. Imagine the energetic imprints left by countless interactions, emotions, and intentions throughout an unbroken chain of existences. These imprints, like subtle vibrations, resonate with similar frequencies in other souls. When two individuals meet and their karmic vibrations align, whether through unresolved patterns, shared purposes, or unfulfilled promises, a powerful sense of recognition can emerge, often mistaken for instant love or inexplicable chemistry. It's a deep subconscious, remembering a recognition that this soul has played a significant role in our journey before carrying with them a charge that requires attention. To illuminate this concept of karmic resonance, allow me to share a poignant story that frequently surfaces in Buddhist teachings. In a small, quiet town, there lived a woman who discovered herself strongly attracted to a man who paradoxically often made her cry more than he made her smile. Her closest friends, observing the evident distress and emotional turbulence in the relationship, repeatedly warned her against the liaison, their concerns grounded in practical observation. Her own rational mind, despite the powerful emotional pull, knew it might be unwise to pursue such a volatile connection. Yet despite these clear warnings from external sources and her own internal logic, her heart inexplicably followed an invisible pull she couldn't explain or resist. It was a force that defied rational analysis, compelling her towards a relationship that promised more heartache than joy. Eventually driven by this overwhelming, unrecognized karmic imperative, she married him. As time wore on, her initial misgivings were tragically confirmed. She endured a constant cycle of betrayal, profound silence, and debilitating emotional coldness within the confines of her marriage. The warmth and comfort she desperately sought eluded her, replaced by a persistent sense of injury. She found herself continually wondering why love, the very foundation she believed marriage should provide, felt more like a wound than a source of warmth and comfort. Her suffering deepened, intensified by her inability to comprehend the purpose or meaning behind such a painful dynamic. One day, at the precipice of despair, desperately searching for answers that transcended conventional understanding, she visited a temple. There, an old caretaker who possessed the quiet wisdom of years of spiritual practice listened patiently with profound empathy to her entire sorrowful narrative. When she finished, the caretaker, with a gentle yet firm voice, said something that would forever alter her perspective. "My dear, what you called attraction was actually recognition not of the soul's inherent beauty or compatible light, but sadly of its burden." This statement was a profound reframing. It implied that the initial spark was not necessarily a sign of destined happiness, but rather a subconscious acknowledgement of a deeper, unresolved issue. You recognized someone who owed you a debt of pain, or perhaps with whom you had an unresolved pattern of hurt, and the universe, in its infinite wisdom and unwavering commitment to balance, gave you front row seats to its repayment. The caretaker was suggesting that her current suffering was not random, but a direct consequence and a necessary unfolding of past karmic imprints, providing an unparalleled opportunity for resolution. Confused and deeply hurting, the woman asked, "Does this mean I'm just meant to suffer? Is this my fate to live a life steeped in pain because of some past unknown transgression?" The caretaker, with boundless compassion, replied wisely, "No, my child, you're meant to awaken. You aren't suffering because of him or because of his actions in isolation. You're suffering because of the attachment your karma still holds to this unresolved pattern. The pain you experience is the indicator, the symptom of this lingering attachment." And then he offered the path to liberation. The moment you truly learn the lesson, the pain transforms into freedom. This profound teaching underscores a central tenet of Buddhism. Suffering arises from attachment upadana, and release from suffering comes from understanding and letting go. Her partner was merely the catalyst, the instrument through which her own unhealed patterns were brought to the surface. This transformative narrative teaches us an invaluable lesson. Attraction often serves as the doorway to karma's lessons. It is the initial pull, the magnetic force, that brings two souls into proximity, not necessarily for immediate bliss, but for the profound work of spiritual evolution. It highlights that not everyone who attracts you is meant to stay in your life permanently in a state of harmonious joy. Some are temporary catalysts serving a specific intense purpose before their karmic role is complete. Furthermore, not everyone who stays is meant to bring you only joy. Some partners are designed to bring forth challenges, to expose our deepest insecurities, to trigger our unhealed wounds, and to push us towards uncomfortable but necessary growth. These are the individuals who courageously, albeit often unconsciously, hold up the mirror to our unresolved issues. Some people enter our lives specifically to remind us of patterns still governing our inner world that desperately need healing. These patterns might originate from childhood trauma, past relationships within this lifetime, or deep karmic imprints from previous existences. The partner in their role as a karmic agent serves as the embodiment of these patterns, acting them out, thereby forcing us to confront them head-on. Without this external reflection, these patterns might remain submerged in the unconscious, endlessly repeating in different guises. Buddhist teachings also fundamentally emphasize that desire tanha is the root of suffering dukkha. This desire is not merely a superficial craving, but a deep-seated attachment to specific outcomes, to pleasure, to comfort, and to the perpetuation of the self and its preferred experiences. When marriage is born primarily from unconscious desire, the desire for completion, for external happiness, for avoidance of loneliness, or for a specific romantic ideal, rather than from conscious awareness of karmic purpose or genuine readiness for mutual growth, it often amplifies karmic lessons until we finally become aware of what we need to learn. The suffering that arises in such relationships is not a failure of love, but a loud, undeniable signal from the universe, drawing attention to the unexamined desires and attachments that are perpetuating disharmony. It's a cosmic alarm urging us to look inward and understand the deeper forces at play. Beyond the immediate pull of karmic resonance and the mirroring of unhealed wounds, another profound dimension of karmic marriage lies in the echo of promises made and broken across countless lifetimes. Imagine a scenario painted across the vast canvas of existence, two souls deeply intertwined in a past life, sharing in profound love, a steadfast commitment, or an unspoken vow of eternal connection. Yet for reasons lost to conscious memory, one soul abandoned the other without explanation, without resolution, leaving behind a lingering sense of betrayal, unfulfilled expectation, or profound sorrow. The universe, in its relentless pursuit of equilibrium, does not simply allow such imbalances to dissipate into nothingness. Instead, it meticulously orchestrates the conditions for balance to be restored. Thus, in a different life, under a new set of circumstances, and in different physical forms, they might be brought together again, drawn by an invisible thread of destiny. But this time, the roles are meticulously reversed. The one who previously abandoned becomes the one who experiences abandonment. This is a crucial point that often leads to misunderstanding. This is not karma's punishment in a punitive, vengeful sense. The universe, from a Buddhist perspective, is not vengeful or retributive. Instead, it is an impersonal, self-regulating mechanism of cause and effect. This role reversal is an act of restoration of balance, a profound opportunity for the soul who inflicted pain to truly understand the depth of that suffering from the receiving end. It provides a direct experiential lesson in empathy, fostering a deeper understanding of the impact of one's actions and ultimately allowing for the karmic imbalance to be consciously understood and resolved. The pain experienced is a pathway to wisdom, not merely an arbitrary infliction of suffering. Consider the deeply moving narrative of a woman who once sat weeping inconsolably in a meditation hall. Her heart was utterly shattered by betrayal. Her world crumbled because her husband had left her for someone else. The sheer pain and confusion of the abandonment were overwhelming, making her question the very meaning of love and commitment. A compassionate meditation teacher, sensing the profound depth of her suffering, approached her gently and with a knowing gaze posed a seemingly simple yet profoundly loaded question. Can you remember a time when you left someone who needed you the most? The question cut through the immediate layers of pain, inviting her to look beyond the present moment's suffering to a deeper, more expansive truth. After a moment of profound hesitation, a flicker of distant memory or an intuitive recognition sparked within her. She slowly nodded, acknowledging a forgotten act, perhaps from this life or another. The teacher then, with a voice full of understanding, revealed the intricate karmic connection. My dear, your soul remembered that. That's why your love for him ran so deep, because it wasn't just love as you understand it now. It was guilt seeking redemption. This was a startling insight. The intense emotional bond she felt, the depth of her despair, was not merely a reflection of the present-day romantic ideal, but an echo of an unresolved past. Her powerful love was intertwined with an unconscious drive to make amends, to experience the reciprocal pain, and thus to ultimately balance the karmic scales. The universe had brought them together not simply for joy, but for the profound work of spiritual accountability and growth. This profound teaching reveals that many marriages aren't merely new beginnings in the conventional sense. They are more often than not continuations of previous connections, elaborate chapters in an ongoing story that spans lifetimes. These connections are threads woven through the grand tapestry of samsara, the relentless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, or more accurately, the cycle of conditioned existence characterized by suffering and impermanence. This cycle in Buddhist wisdom applies not only to physical bodies and their transient forms, but also to emotions, desires, intentions, and crucially to karmic debts and unfinished business. If a promise made in one life is broken, if a debt of kindness or harm remains outstanding, or if an intention remains unfulfilled, it seeks fulfillment in another existence. The energetic imprint persists, pulling souls back into specific relationships to complete their journey. Marriage from this perspective is often karma's sacred and precise attempt to restore balance to these broken vows and unresolved connections, offering a divinely orchestrated opportunity for reconciliation, learning, and liberation. It's a testament to the universe's inherent drive towards equilibrium and the relentless pursuit of awakening. Have you ever observed couples who to all appearances seem perfect for each other in countless ways, displaying a harmony of interests, shared values, and undeniable affection? Yet their relationship is inexplicably filled with relentless conflict. They might share genuinely beautiful moments together, experiences of deep connection and profound joy, creating an outward image of an ideal match to everyone else. Despite this veneer of perfection, their marriage often devolves into a constant battlefield where arguments erupt frequently and underlying tensions simmer just beneath the surface of their interactions. It can feel to them and to those observing like trying to hold water with open fingers, an impossible endeavor to maintain peace or stability no matter how desperately or intensely they try. This persistent friction in seemingly ideal pairings points to a deeper, more subtle layer of karmic interplay that transcends superficial compatibility. A man deeply troubled by this very paradox in his own life once sought wisdom from a Zen master during a quiet retreat. He confessed his dilemma: "Master, my wife and I love each other deeply. There is no doubt about our affection, but we fight every single day. It feels like an unending cycle of discord. Should I leave this relationship? Is it a sign that we are simply not meant to be together?" The master, renowned for his insightful responses that often cut to the heart of complex human issues, replied with a surprising and profound insight. "My son, your souls met too early. She is still becoming the person who will truly understand you. Her spiritual evolution is still unfolding, and you in turn are still shedding the person who cannot genuinely accept her letting go of the egoic constructs that prevent true acceptance. You met in love, yes, but not in readiness." This seemingly simple statement from the Zen master reveals another crucial dimension of karma in marriage timing. Karma doesn't solely determine who enters your life. It also meticulously orchestrates when they enter it. Two souls in their intrinsic nature might indeed be perfect for each other, in essence sharing a deep, underlying resonance and a destined path. However, if their meeting occurs at the wrong time in their individual spiritual evolution, before both are sufficiently prepared before their respective egoic attachments and unhealed patterns have been adequately addressed, then genuine harmony becomes exceedingly difficult to sustain. The friction arises not from a fundamental incompatibility of souls, but from the immaturity of their individual spiritual states at the point of union. From a Zen perspective, which emphasizes the purity of the present moment and the shedding of ego, it's not enough just to meet the right person. Both individuals must be equally prepared, truly empty of ego, that is free from the self-centered demands, projections, and defenses that create conflict, and full of presence, fully embodied in the here and now, able to meet reality as it is without resistance. Without this mutual readiness, even the most profound soul connection can become a source of intense struggle, as the relationship becomes a crucible for accelerated, albeit painful, personal growth. In the deepest, most authentic sense, marriage, particularly a karmic one, isn't primarily about companionships in a casual sense or merely about providing emotional comfort. While these aspects can certainly be present and cherished, they are secondary to its true, overarching purpose. The profound truth is that marriage's primary function is spiritual reflection. A genuine spiritual partner isn't someone who simply agrees with you at every turn, validating all your perspectives and effortlessly making you feel good about yourself. Such a relationship, while seemingly comfortable, might subtly prevent the necessary self-inquiry and growth. Rather, a true spiritual partner, whether consciously or unconsciously, courageously, helps you see your shadows, exposing those parts of your psyche that you instinctively deny, repress, or refuse to confront. They illuminate the areas that desperately need growth, the hidden insecurities, the unacknowledged fears, the unresolved traumas, and the self-limiting beliefs that hinder your spiritual evolution. True partners don't just soothe your wounds, they compassionately yet firmly reveal them so they can finally be healed. This revealing process, while often uncomfortable or even painful, is an act of profound love, serving as a catalyst for deep self-awareness and ultimate liberation. A wise monk once shared a deeply illustrative parable with his students, further elucidating this profound truth. A candle married the wind. This metaphorical union immediately evokes a sense of inherent conflict, for how can fire and air coexist in such close intimacy without one extinguishing the other? The wind, with its formidable power, directly addressed its fragile partner. Will you love me even when I blow you out? The candle, embodying a wisdom beyond its flickering flame, replied with unwavering conviction, yes, for only in darkness will I truly know the strength of my own flame. The monk then meticulously explained the profound lesson embedded within this simple tale. This, my dear students, is the essence of karmic marriage. You don't marry someone to complete you, for you are already complete in your true nature. You marry them so that you may recognize your own completeness, your inherent resilience, your luminous inner light, not only through joy, which is often the expected path, but crucially often through friction and challenges. From the Buddhist perspective, everything in the conditioned world, including relationships, is fundamentally impermanent anicca. Relationships, like all phenomena, are subject to change, decay, and eventual dissolution. However, the wisdom and spiritual understanding that you gain through a relationship can be eternal if that experience serves to awaken true wisdom within you. The insights gleaned, the compassion cultivated, the ego dissolved. These are timeless fruits that transcend the lifespan of any particular union. The highest purpose of marriage, therefore, is not fleeting comfort, but enduring consciousness. The right partner, in the karmic sense, is not merely the one who makes you feel perpetually comfortable or validated. Instead, it is the one who precisely and consistently makes you conscious of your true nature, nudging you towards deeper self-awareness, urging you to confront your unexamined patterns, and propelling you towards spiritual liberation, even if that process is arduous and challenging. It is through the crucible of relationship that the true flame of wisdom within can be tested, purified, and ultimately known in its full, unwavering strength. In conventional societal narratives, a marriage that concludes particularly through divorce or separation is often perceived as a failure. It carries a stigma, a sense of defeat, implying that something went fundamentally wrong or that the individuals involved simply didn't try hard enough. This pervasive belief places an undue emphasis on longevity as the sole measure of a relationship's success, often leading people to cling to unions long past their natural expiration. However, Buddhist wisdom offers a radically different and profoundly liberating perspective. Some marriages are simply not meant to last forever. They are not failures if they end. Instead, they are designed to last exactly as long as needed for the karma to complete its course. Each union has a specific purpose, a precise set of lessons to impart, or an intricate karmic debt to balance. Once that purpose is fulfilled, once the karmic energies have ripened and been integrated, the relationship has in essence achieved its inherent goal. From this enlightened viewpoint, staying together beyond that point doesn't inherently lead to continued growth, but often to stagnation for both people. When the karmic lessons have been absorbed and the foundational purpose of the union has been realized, forcing its continuation can impede further individual evolution. It can become a self-imposed prison, stifling the very spiritual progress it once facilitated. The suffering in such prolonged unions doesn't stem from the relationship itself, but from the attachment to its form, from the resistance to its natural cycle of completion. It's like trying to keep a butterfly in its cocoon after it's ready to fly. Holding on out of fear, obligation, or societal pressure prevents the next stage of transformative unfolding. To illustrate this compassionate understanding, consider the poignant tale of a divorced woman who, consumed by lingering self-doubt and societal judgment, once visited a serene Zen garden. Her heart was heavy with the weight of her perceived failure, and she confessed to the wise teacher tending the garden, "I stayed in my marriage for years, Master, even after I felt utterly dead inside. I believed it was my duty, my commitment was that noble, was my endurance a virtue." The old teacher, with profound empathy and gentle insight, whispered a truth that resonated deeply. "My dear, that was not nobility. That was attachment wearing a mask of loyalty." This distinction is crucial. True loyalty stems from conscious choice and mutual growth. Attachment, however, is driven by fear. Fear of change, fear of loneliness, fear of judgment, or fear of the unknown. It masquerades as virtue, but its underlying motivation is rooted in clinging to what is familiar, even if it is soul-destroying. As the woman wept tears of both sorrow and dawning realization, the teacher placed a vibrant lotus flower in her hand, a powerful symbol in Buddhism of purity, awakening, and transcendence. He then offered another profound analogy. The lotus doesn't bloom in clear water, it blooms in mud. Your marriage, with all its challenges, its pain, and its suffering, was the mud. Your healing, your eventual liberation, and your renewed sense of self is the bloom. This beautiful metaphor encapsulates the essence of karmic completion. The mud represents the fertile ground of suffering, the difficult experiences that catalyze growth. It's precisely through confronting and integrating these challenges that true spiritual blossoming occurs. Buddhism teaches that letting go isn't a failure. It's an act of profound freedom, particularly when the time is right. It is a courageous act of conscious surrender to the natural cycles of life and profound affirmation of one's own worth and path. Therefore, when the karma of a marriage has truly fulfilled its purpose, when the lessons have been learned and the debts balanced, staying attached only creates unnecessary suffering. It's clinging to a form that no longer serves the underlying spiritual evolution. A truly wise person recognizes when something has reached its natural conclusion, an ending not of defeat, but of fulfillment. They accept it with gratitude for the growth it facilitated, rather than with bitterness or resentment for its cessation. The experience, however painful or challenging it may have been, has served its essential purpose in your soul's grand journey. It was a necessary chapter, a vital lesson, and its conclusion opens the door for new learning, new experiences, and continued spiritual unfolding. The wisdom of impermanence applied to relationships empowers us to release with grace, fostering peace and liberation. The profound interconnectedness of karma and destiny sometimes manifests in ways that defy our immediate conscious understanding, reaching back into the annals of countless lifetimes. Deep meditation, when practiced with sustained dedication and purity of intention, occasionally allows individuals to glimpse previous lives not as fantastical imaginings or fleeting daydreams, but as vivid fragments of memory echoes from a distant past that feel undeniably real. These aren't necessarily full coherent narratives, but rather flashes of recognition sensations or intuitive insights. Many who experience this remarkable phenomenon discover a startling truth. They are inexplicably drawn to certain individuals in their current lives only to realize, through these profound meditative insights, that these people once played important, often pivotal roles in their past lives. The powerful attraction, the uncanny familiarity, the sense of having known them forever, transcends simple chemistry. It's a soul-level recognition. Consider the poignant inquiry posed by a young woman during a Buddhist teaching session. Why do I feel like I've known my husband forever, even though we just met 2 years ago? This sentiment, common among those who experience profound instantaneous connection, points directly to the underlying karmic threads. The teacher, embodying the wisdom of countless generations, responded with disarming simplicity, because your soul did know him. Your choice, the fundamental decision to intertwine your paths, was made long before this birth. What you feel isn't mere nostalgia or romantic idealization, it's remembrance. This teaching suggests a pre-existing blueprint, a soul-level agreement forged in the unseen realms of karma before our conscious minds even begin to form. It's an affirmation that destiny guided by karmic forces plays a far more significant role than we typically perceive. Marriage, in its deeper truth, isn't arranged solely by logical compatibility or superficial physical attraction. While these factors certainly play a role in the human experience, they are merely the visible tip of an immense karmic iceberg. Fundamentally, marriage is arranged by karma. What often appears to our limited conscious perception as a mere coincidence, a chance encounter, a fortuitous meeting, a spontaneous attraction, is in reality often a seamless continuity across lifetimes. The universe, through the intricate dance of cause and effect, meticulously orchestrates the conditions for souls to reunite to complete what was left unfinished, or to embark on new necessary stages of their collective evolution. You marry who you marry because your soul recognized a task to complete, a bond to honor, a lesson to master, or a mirror to face. Your inner higher self, driven by the imperative of spiritual growth, aligns you with the precise individuals who will serve as catalysts for your unfolding. Buddhist teachers are quick to clarify that while marriage is a profoundly important and transformative vehicle, it isn't the ultimate goal of life itself. Life's ultimate purpose, from a Buddhist perspective, is liberation, awakening, and the cessation of suffering. Marriage is seen as a doorway, one of many paths that can lead to this ultimate freedom. Some couples, through their shared commitment to awareness and compassionate engagement, walk through this doorway hand in hand toward enlightenment, their union serving as a powerful accelerator for mutual spiritual growth. Their intertwined journey becomes a testament to the transformative power of relationship. Conversely, Others, having fulfilled the specific karmic purpose of their union, need to part ways once their lessons together are complete. This separation is not a failure, but a necessary progression, allowing each individual to continue their unique path of unfolding. Crucially, either path, when walked with conscious awareness and intention, leads to freedom. Freedom from clinging, freedom from unresolved patterns, and freedom to embrace the next stage of spiritual evolution. A wise monk, in what was remembered as his final teaching, encapsulated this liberating understanding. The goal of marriage isn't to make the other person stay forever clinging to a fixed outcome. It's to become the kind of person who no longer clings. This radical redefinition shifts the focus from external control and permanence to internal transformation and liberation. It emphasizes that the true purpose of the relationship lies within the self in the cultivation of non-attachment. Marriage isn't sacred because of its form or its duration. Whether it lasts a year or a lifetime is secondary. It is sacred because of the unparalleled opportunity it provides for spiritual awakening. The crucible of intimate relationship, with its inherent challenges and opportunities for reflection, becomes a training ground for wisdom, compassion, and the dismantling of ego. Zen and broader Buddhist thought, with their emphasis on direct experience and liberation from conceptual frameworks, don't idolize marriage as life's ultimate purpose. Instead, marriage is seen as one of many invaluable vehicles that can transport us toward enlightenment. Like a raft used to cross a river, it serves a vital function but is not the destination itself. What truly matters isn't whether the marriage lasts until death, adhering to a conventional societal expectation, but whether it awakens us to our true nature, our inherent Buddha nature, our boundless compassion, our interconnectedness with all life. The karma of marriage, when approached consciously and with deep awareness, leads to liberation. We process past patterns, break cycles of suffering, and cultivate qualities that free us from the endless round of rebirth. However, when approached unconsciously, driven by unexamined desires, fears, and conditioning, it inevitably leads to the repetition of the same patterns life after life, trapping us in cycles of predictable suffering. The profound choice lies in our awareness, in our willingness to engage with the karmic lessons offered, transforming potential repetition into true liberation. Many people enter marriage with a profound, almost singular expectation to experience only happiness, boundless affection, and the seamless realization of shared dreams. This idealized vision, deeply ingrained by romantic narratives and societal pressures, often paints a picture of perpetual harmony, where difficulties are anomalies, not inherent components. Consequently, when difficulties inevitably arise, as they always do in the dynamic crucible of human connection, individuals often react with dismay, assuming that something has gone terribly wrong with their specific union. They might conclude that they married the wrong person, that love has inexplicably faded, or that their dream has shattered. This perspective, however, misses a crucial, profound truth about the nature of growth. But what if these challenges aren't mistakes? What if they are not signs of failure or incompatibility, but rather precisely what is needed? What if they are actually a necessary fire, meant to burn away the illusions we carry about love? This metaphor of purification is central to the Buddhist understanding of relationships. Just as gold is refined in a furnace, shedding its impurities to reveal its true luster, so too are our perceptions and attachments purified through the heat of relational conflict. The discomfort, the friction, and the pain serve as potent alchemical agents designed to dissolve our naive expectations, our egoic demands, and our conditioned patterns of relating. This fire strips away the superficial layers, revealing the deeper, often unexamined truths about ourselves and the true purpose of the bond. Consider the complexity inherent in the simple phrase, "I love you." While two people can utter these three powerful words, they can in fact mean completely different things, reflecting vastly divergent intentions and underlying karmic patterns. One partner might declare, "I love you," and implicitly mean, "You make me feel good about myself. You validate me, you affirm my identity, you provide comfort and pleasure." This form of love is often rooted in attachment, in a desire for the other to fulfill personal needs and expectations. It's a conditional love, dependent on the partner providing specific emotional or psychological benefits. Should those benefits cease or diminish, this form of love can quickly morph into resentment or withdrawal. The other partner, however, might utter, "I love you," and means something far more profound and challenging. "I choose to grow beside you, even when growth is painful. I am committed to our mutual evolution, even when that process exposes my flaws and demands uncomfortable transformation." This is a higher, more evolved form of love, rooted in conscious awareness and a commitment to the spiritual journey. It transcends personal gratification, embracing the full spectrum of human experience, including the friction and discomfort that accompany genuine growth. A Zen master with characteristic succinctness once explained this profound difference, illuminating the chasm between attachment and true awakening. Attachment says, "I love you because I need you." This statement lays bare the often unconscious dependency that underpins many relationships. It's a love born from lack, from the desire for the other to complete what we perceive as missing within ourselves. It's fundamentally self-centered, even if it appears outwardly loving. In contrast, the wisdom of awakening says, "I need you because I love you enough to grow through you." This is a radical shift in perspective. It signifies a realization that the need is not for the other to fill an emptiness, but for the other to serve as a catalyst for one's own internal transformation. It's a love that is fundamentally expansive and generous, embracing the difficult path of self-discovery and integration. Attachment always seeks pleasure and instinctively avoids discomfort. It clings fiercely to the version of our partner that brings ease, validation, and gratification, actively rejecting or resisting the version that reflects our shadows, challenges our ego, or forces us to confront our unhealed aspects. It's a selective love, accepting only the convenient facets of the other. True love, in profound contrast, embraces all aspects of the partner and the relationship, joy and pain, light and dark, comfort and challenge. It understands that the full spectrum of experience is necessary for authentic growth. It operates from a deep knowing that through this complete acceptance of self, of partner, of the relationship's dynamic, the soul expands. It's a love that acknowledges imperfections and difficulties not as impediments, but as integral components of the spiritual path. In karmic marriages, the subtle, often unrecognized reality is that attachment frequently disguises itself as love for prolonged periods. This masquerade persists, maintaining the illusion of a healthy bond until suffering inevitably reveals the truth. The pain and conflict, rather than being indicators of failure, become the wake-up call, the unavoidable signals that illuminate the hidden attachments and unconscious desires that are generating discord. When you finally understand this profound distinction, when you recognize that the friction serves a higher purpose, your relationships transform from being mere sources of disappointment to powerful opportunities for profound growth. The bitter pill of conflict, when consciously swallowed, becomes the medicine for deeper healing and spiritual awakening. It's a shift from being a victim of circumstance to an active participant in your own evolution, utilizing the relationship as a sacred vehicle for self-discovery. Understood. I will generate the next 7 segments, each aiming for approximately 2,500 words, meticulously building upon the themes you've provided and maintaining the core Buddhist wisdom. I will provide the word count after each segment. Here is segment 9. Segment 9, the unveiling of wounds. Marriage is a house of healing and the mirror of the soul. When two individuals embark upon the profound journey of marriage, the conventional understanding often limits the union to the merging of personalities, shared dreams, and compatible interests. We imagine marrying their words of affirmation, their captivating smiles, and their heartfelt promises for a beautiful future. However, Buddhist wisdom, with its deep psychological insight, reveals a far more intricate and challenging reality. When you marry someone, you are not merely marrying their words, their smile, or their promises. You are in a very real and profound sense marrying their wounds, all the pain they carry accumulated from the formative experiences of childhood, the unresolved traumas of past relationships within this lifetime, and the deep, often unconscious imprints from previous existences. These wounds are not abstract concepts. They are tangible energetic patterns deeply embedded within the psyche and soul. These deeply seated wounds, unlike superficial scars, do not stay buried forever. They possess an inherent drive towards resolution and healing, and the intimate crucible of marriage provides the perfect pressure cooker for them to inevitably surface, often in confusing, unexpected, and seemingly irrational ways. A seemingly minor disagreement can trigger a disproportionately intense emotional reaction. A casual comment can unleash a torrent of long-suppressed pain. A moment of vulnerability might be met with withdrawal, not because of malicious intent, but because the wound itself recoils from perceived threat. These surfacing patterns are not arbitrary. They are the soul's desperate attempt to bring the unhealed into the light of conscious awareness, inviting integration and liberation. Consider the poignant example of a man who, bewildered and hurt, once confided in a Buddhist teacher. She said she loved me, Master, with great intensity, but she always pushed me away whenever I got too close. Every time I tried to deepen our intimacy, to truly connect, she would emotionally, or even physically, withdraw. The teacher listened with compassionate understanding, recognizing the familiar pattern of attachment and fear. He replied gently yet firmly, "Then you must understand, my son, that she did love you from the deepest part of her being, but her wound feared love. Her love was real, but it was overshadowed by a primal fear, a protective mechanism born from past hurts that equated intimacy with vulnerability and potential abandonment. You didn't just marry her alone, you married the pain that lived within her silence." This deeply insightful response highlights that outward behaviors are often manifestations of deeper, unaddressed suffering. The wife's pushing away wasn't a rejection of the man, but a reaction of her unhealed wound. In the intricate tapestry of Buddhist psychology, unhealed pain is not static. It transforms into karmic patterns that relentlessly repeat until we finally become conscious of them. Like a broken record, the same emotional scripts, the same interpersonal dynamics, and the same relational outcomes play out again and again, manifesting with different faces and in different contexts, yet carrying the same underlying charge of suffering. This repetitive cycle serves as a persistent signal, a relentless invitation from the universe to awaken to the root cause of the pain. The teaching is clear. Awareness is the key to breaking these cycles. Many marriages struggle not because of a lack of fundamental love, but precisely because of unresolved inner wounds that neither partner fully understands or acknowledges. These wounds, operating from the subconscious sabotage attempts at connection, create walls of misunderstanding and perpetuate cycles of conflict that leave both individuals feeling frustrated and disconnected. The teaching here is therefore simple, yet profoundly challenging when marrying someone. Remember, you're not just uniting with their surface personality, their charming traits, or their admirable qualities. You are in essence walking into the same house as their deepest pain. This means that for a marriage to truly flourish, for it to move beyond repetitive karmic suffering, both partners must be ready to face these wounds together with profound compassion. This requires a willingness to be vulnerable, to engage in honest self-reflection, to cultivate empathy for the other's unseen burdens, and to commit to a shared journey of healing. Without this mutual readiness and compassionate engagement, the relationship inevitably becomes increasingly difficult as the unaddressed wounds continue to fester and manifest as conflict distance or emotional coldness. One of the most powerful and often uncomfortable aspects of the marital relationship from a Buddhist perspective is its function as a mirror. It doesn't bring a stranger into your life in the deepest sense. It brings a reflection of yourself. Everything unhealed within you, every insecurity, every unresolved belief about your inherent worth, every hidden fear or judgment will be reflected through your partner. They become the perfect, unblinking mirror, illuminating the aspects of your inner landscape that you habitually deny, rationalize, or project onto others. You might sincerely believe they are criticizing or deliberately hurting you, but in truth, they are often just exposing what already exists within you, bringing your own inner turmoil to the surface for recognition and healing. The external conflict is merely a symptom of an internal discord. To illustrate this powerful mirroring function, consider the familiar scenario of a woman who once complained bitterly to a monk. "My husband always criticizes me. He never thinks I'm good enough, no matter what I do." Her voice was laced with frustration and a deep sense of inadequacy. The monk, with gentle wisdom, posed a penetrating question. "Did you already believe you weren't enough before he said a word?" The question, direct and incisive, bypassed the external blame and pointed straight to her internal state. When she nodded, a dawning realization spreading across her face, he whispered the profound truth. "Then he isn't the cause of your pain or your belief that you are not enough. He's simply the mirror reflecting it." Her husband's words, though perhaps harsh, were merely amplifying an existing internal narrative of self-doubt. Zen teaching, with its emphasis on clarity of mind, reinforces this profound truth. When the mind is still, the world reflects clearly. A mind free from attachment projection and self-doubt perceives reality as it is unclouded by internal distortions. Conversely, when the mind carries self-doubt, hidden insecurities, or unresolved inner wounds, even love will feel like judgment. Every affirmation might be questioned, every compliment dismissed, and every perceived slight magnified, not because of the external reality, but because of the internal filter through which it is processed. In karmic relationships, our partner often serves as a precise reflection of our own inner state. The more healing we do within ourselves, the more we cultivate self-acceptance and inner peace, the more peaceful and harmonious the reflection becomes. The less aware we are of our own inner landscape, the more we deny our own shadows, the more distorted and painful everything appears through the mirror of relationship. This understanding shifts the locus of control from the external to the internal. You cannot fix a mirror by shouting at it when you don't like what you see reflected. The solution lies not in attempting to change the reflection, your partner's behavior by force or blame, but in changing what is being reflected, your own inner state. Instead, you must purify your own mind and heart, cleanse the inner mirror of its smudges of doubt, fear, and unresolved pain. This is the authentic path to transforming your marriage, not from a perpetual source of pain, but into a profound source of wisdom. By engaging in this deep inner work, you fundamentally change the dynamic, inviting your partner to reflect a more healed, more peaceful, and more liberated version of yourself, thereby transforming the relationship itself into a vehicle for mutual awakening. While a significant portion of karmic marriages arise from the imperative to heal past wounds, resolve unfinished business, or balance emotional debts, it is crucial to recognize that the intricate tapestry of karma is not woven solely from threads of suffering and challenge. Indeed, not all karmic marriages stem from past wounds or difficult, arduous lessons. Sometimes in a beautiful and profound counterpoint to the more arduous paths they form because of deep, abiding gratitude. This is a testament to the comprehensive nature of karma, which encompasses positive as well as challenging interactions. Imagine a scenario where in another distant lifetime, the person you are now destined to marry once demonstrated extraordinary kindness towards you. Perhaps they extended a helping hand in a moment of dire need, offered you unconditional shelter when you were vulnerable and exposed, literally saved your life from peril, or provided unwavering support and assistance when absolutely no one else would. These acts of profound, selfless benevolence create an energetic imprint, a positive karmic credit that resonates across the vast expanse of time and countless rebirths. In this current existence, you might find yourselves drawn together not primarily out of conventional romantic love, though that can certainly be a component, but because your soul remembers and harbors a deep, almost instinctual wish to subtly repay this kindness. It's an unconscious drive towards reciprocity, an innate desire to balance the scales of generosity and offer a return for a past blessing. A Buddhist teacher once shared this profound insight, shedding light on the subtle dynamics of such gratitude-based unions. If you observe someone who stays in a marriage without an obvious, passionate romantic love, and yet they cannot seem to leave despite external pressures or internal questioning, watch closely. It may not be fear of loneliness, social obligation, or even a sense of guilt that binds them. It may in fact be an invisible gratitude that the soul cannot ignore. This form of gratitude is not merely a fleeting emotion. It is a deep-seated karmic imprint, a profound recognition of a past beneficence that continues to exert its influence. Gratitude in the karmic field is extraordinarily powerful. It acts as a potent adhesive, weaving a resilient bond between souls. One single act of genuine kindness, planted with pure intention in a past life, possesses the profound capacity to blossom into a lifelong bond in this one, creating a relationship characterized by quiet devotion, unwavering support, and a subtle, enduring sense of obligation that feels more like grace than burden. While some individuals caught in such gratitude-driven marriages might, from a limited conventional perspective, feel trapped or burdened by an unarticulated sense of duty, the enlightened view offers a more expansive and liberating interpretation. It invites us to recognize the gift being repaid not as a chore, but as a sacred opportunity. From this perspective, the completion of this karmic balancing act doesn't arise through mere endurance of the relationship or through a lingering sense of guilt over past benefits received. Instead, it blossoms through conscious appreciation. When the past kindness is acknowledged with full awareness, when the bond is cherished with genuine love and conscious intention, the karmic debt is honored in the highest sense. Once this energetic exchange is consciously appreciated and fulfilled, the soul becomes truly free to move forward, its karmic ledger balanced, liberated from the unconscious imperative to repay. This freedom doesn't necessarily mean the relationship ends. It means the nature of the bond transforms from an unconscious obligation to a conscious choice, deepening its intrinsic value. Beyond the realms of karmic debt and gratitude lies the pinnacle of intimate union in Buddhist thought, the relationship between two highly conscious souls. When such individuals come together in marriage, something truly extraordinary and rare happens. Their union transcends the typical emotional dramas and personal struggles that characterize most relationships born from unconscious karmic patterns. Instead, their bond becomes a path not of emotional drama, but of profound spiritual expansion. Their shared journey is less about personal gratification and more about collective upliftment. A master observing such a union once eloquently told his students, "When two souls marry not to fill each other's emptiness, which is the common, often misguided human endeavor, but to serve the world together, united by a higher purpose, karma bows in reverence." This powerful statement implies that such unions transcend the ordinary workings of individual karma, becoming a force for universal benefit. Such marriages are fundamentally not focused on what one person gets from the other, or on fulfilling individual emotional needs in a self-centered way. Instead, their primary focus is on what they collaboratively build together to benefit others, to contribute positively to the collective well-being. These types of unions are rare and deeply transformative relationships, serving as living examples of enlightened partnership. They are not free from challenges, as human experience always entails some friction, but their difficulties are approached with profound awareness, compassion, and a shared commitment to transcending personal ego for the sake of a higher purpose. In Buddhist practice, the term Dharma, or Dhamma in Pali, carries multiple layers of meaning. It signifies truth, the cosmic law, the teachings of the Buddha, and also one's personal path or mission. In this context, some marriages are aptly called dharma marriages. These unions are distinct because they are not based on personal gain, fleeting pleasure, or even the resolution of individual karmic debts in a self-contained way. Rather, they are founded upon a shared spiritual purpose, a collective mission to realize and embody the Dharma. These couples often do not have dramatic, emotionally charged stories of overwhelming passion or turbulent conflict as seen in relationships driven by intense, unresolved karma. Instead, their bond feels like a calm, steady, and radiant fire, unwavering, deeply purposeful, utterly pure in its intention, and consistently harmonious in its expression. They radiate a quiet strength and an inherent stability that sets them apart. These rare and elevated relationships do not just resolve existing karmic cycles for the individuals involved. They actively uplift humanity through their very example and through their dedicated service. They become beacons of conscious partnership, demonstrating how intimate unions can be profound vehicles for collective awakening. By embodying principles of compassion, selflessness, and shared wisdom, they inspire others and contribute positively to the spiritual evolution of the world, leaving a legacy of harmony and insight that transcends their personal lives. Their union becomes a living manifestation of the Dharma itself, serving as a powerful testament to the transformative potential of conscious, purpose-driven love. Have you ever found yourself in a puzzling predicament where you seem to attract the same type of partner over and over again, despite conscious intentions to choose differently? It's a common and often frustrating experience. The faces change. The names are new. The circumstances might vary, even though each relationship ends in similar pain. The initial sparks might feel fresh and unique, promising a different outcome, but inevitably the familiar script unfolds, leading to the same emotional turmoil, the same points of conflict, or the same sense of unfulfillment. This cyclical repetition is more than mere bad luck or a string of unfortunate choices. It's a profound manifestation of karma. From a Buddhist perspective, when we don't learn the lessons karma is trying to teach us, the universe, with infinite patience and unwavering determination, continues to present the same patterns, often with new faces. The external details may be different. The partner's name may change, their physical appearance may be distinct, but the underlying suffering remains the same until our awareness finally breaks the pattern. This is not a punishment, but a persistent invitation for deeper self-reflection and conscious transformation. Consider the heartfelt plea of a woman who in tears approached a Zen nun, her voice trembling with frustration. Why do I always attract men who ignore me emotionally? It happens every time, no matter who I date. Her question encapsulated the essence of a recurring karmic pattern. The nun, with profound compassion and gentle wisdom, offered an insight that transcended superficial blame. My dear, it's not because you are destined for this. It's because your soul still hasn't learned to stop chasing silence and start embracing your own voice. This was a radical reframing. The men's emotional unavailability was not the primary problem. It was a mirror reflecting the woman's own pattern of suppressing her authentic self, her true needs, and her deep desires. Her pursuit of emotionally distant partners was an unconscious echo of her own inner silence, a seeking to reenact and ultimately resolve an unhealed dynamic within herself. The suffering the nun implied was the catalyst urging her to find and express her authentic voice, to set healthy boundaries, and to claim her intrinsic worth, independent of external validation. Buddhist teachings fundamentally emphasize that our external experiences are profoundly shaped by our internal realities. The outer world serves as a reflection of our inner landscape, particularly in the realm of relationships. If an individual continually meets partners who consistently neglect, betray, or belittle them, it is not simply bad luck or an arbitrary twist of fate. Instead, it is a repeating pattern seeking resolution, a karmic loop that continues to manifest because the underlying inner conditions that create it remain unaddressed. The superficial changes in partners merely serve to highlight the persistence of the unresolved inner dynamic. The key to liberation from this cycle, therefore, isn't in finding a new person, hoping that a different external partner will magically solve the problem. The profound truth is that the transformation must come from within. It's about becoming a new presence within yourself. This means healing old wounds, challenging limiting beliefs, and cultivating the self-awareness and emotional resilience that changes the energetic blueprint you project into the world. Marriage stops being painful when we stop being unconscious of these patterns, when we bring the light of mindfulness to the hidden karmic scripts that have been dictating our relational experiences. One of the most profound and courageous ways to end a karmic cycle is not necessarily by staying in a difficult or stagnant relationship, enduring it out of a misguided sense of duty or fear. Sometimes, the most powerful act of liberation is precisely the opposite, walking away with love and compassion. This act is not about escaping pain, but about recognizing when the karmic lesson has been fully absorbed, when continued presence would only perpetuate unconscious suffering. When you truly forgive someone who cannot love you in a healthy or reciprocal way, you are not primarily doing it for them or for their benefit. Crucially, you are freeing yourself from what might be lifetimes of emotional imprisonment, from the energetic chains of resentment, bitterness, and unresolved attachment. A wise monk once articulated this liberating truth. The most powerful act of love is not holding on, it's letting go with peace. This kind of conscious ending transforms karma completely. It sends a clear and potent signal to the universe that the lesson embedded within the relationship has been fully learned, deeply understood, and integrated into the soul's fabric. Consequently, the suffering associated with that particular karmic pattern no longer needs to repeat itself. Karma in this context reaches its natural conclusion, not through retribution or through the continuation of pain, but through genuine understanding and profound forgiveness. When one person engages in the courageous act of forgiving completely, releasing blame, resentment, and the desire for different outcomes, their soul breaks the karmic chain. This conscious release allows future relationships, whether with the same soul in a new dynamic or with entirely new connections, to be born in clarity rather than confusion, untainted by the residues of past unresolved patterns. Forgiveness is often the final and most important lesson in the karma of marriage. It is the ultimate gateway to liberation, paving the way for a future free from the unconscious repetition of suffering, inviting in relationships grounded in authentic love, wisdom, and genuine peace. It is the act that says, "I have learned and I am free to move forward." Having delved into the profound truths of how karma shapes our relationships, particularly marriage, it's imperative to consolidate our understanding with a summary of key insights. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are foundational principles that, when deeply integrated, can radically transform how we perceive and engage with our most intimate connections. Firstly, a core tenet is that karma leads the soul, not merely the logical mind. This means the intricate dance of attraction and union that culminates in marriage is not primarily orchestrated by our conscious preferences, rational assessments of compatibility, or superficial desires. While these conscious elements play a role, the deeper, more powerful currents drawing two souls together are the unseen forces of karma, energies, intentions, and actions from past interactions that create an undeniable gravitational pull. You marry who you do because of this past energetic imprint, whether that energy manifests as unfulfilled love, unresolved debt, deep-seated wounds seeking healing, or profound gratitude needing expression. It's a subtle yet undeniable magnetism that operates beneath the veneer of everyday thought and emotion. Secondly, a profound and often challenging truth: your marriage always reflects your inner state. Your partner, in their words, actions, and very being, serves as an unerring mirror, not merely a companion. They reflect your unhealed wounds, your unconscious beliefs about yourself, your hidden fears, and your unacknowledged shadows. When conflict arises, it often stems not just from their actions, but from how their actions trigger or activate something already existing within you. Understanding this shifts the focus from external blame to internal accountability, transforming every interaction into an opportunity for profound self-discovery and healing. Thirdly, the path of growth in marriage often entails struggle, for lessons often come before peace. Spiritual growth is rarely a smooth, effortless journey. It is frequently preceded by friction and challenges. These difficulties are not signs that the relationship is wrong or failed, but rather precisely what the soul needs to awaken. They are the crucibles in which character is forged, compassion is deepened, and awareness is sharpened. Peace in this context is not the absence of conflict, but the fruit of consciously engaging with it and learning its inherent lessons. Fourthly, the wisdom of impermanence teaches that letting go can be sacred. The longevity of a union isn't its sole measure of success. Some marriages aren't meant to last forever. They are designed to fulfill a specific karmic purpose, and once that purpose is complete, their natural conclusion arises. When a union ends, it's not always because it failed, but often because it completed its purpose. Releasing such a bond with awareness and gratitude is an act of profound liberation, preventing stagnation and allowing both souls to move forward on their respective paths. Fifthly, and perhaps most empowering, is the truth that you can change your karmic patterns by becoming conscious. You are not a helpless victim of predetermined fate. By bringing mindfulness to your reactions, cultivating loving kindness and compassion, practicing forgiveness, and becoming emotionally free from old attachments, you actively reshape your karmic trajectory. When you consciously choose awareness over unconscious reaction, when you engage with love instead of fear, you stop attracting pain and begin drawing peace and greater harmony into your life. And sixth, a crucial clarification: marriage itself is not the ultimate goal. Awakening is. While marriage offers an unparalleled pathway to spiritual growth, it is a means, not the end. Whether your bond lasts until death or eventually breaks it is merely a vessel for the real journey, which is always inward. The true purpose of any relationship from a Buddhist perspective is to serve as a catalyst for your own profound spiritual awakening, leading you to your true nature, unbounded by temporary forms or conditions. The dawn of recognition, how karma manifests in early attraction. Now let's delve deeper into how karma subtly yet powerfully manifests in the early stages of relationships, often long before commitment is even a consideration. Have you ever experienced meeting someone and feeling an instant powerful connection that seems to entirely transcend rational explanation? It's that uncanny sense of familiarity, a feeling that resonates deep within your being, suggesting you've known them for ages, even though you just met moments or days ago. Perhaps you felt you'd known them forever, despite having just met 2 years, 2 months, or even 2 minutes ago. This phenomenon, often romanticized as soulmate recognition or love at first sight in popular culture, holds a much deeper significance in Buddhist understanding. It isn't mere coincidence or simply a chemical attraction. It's a profound act of karmic recognition. Consider the testimony of a young man who, perplexed by such a powerful encounter, once confided in his meditation teacher about meeting a woman and feeling an overwhelming sense of familiarity. "I felt like I'd known her my entire life," he explained, still marveling at the intensity of the experience. "We even finished each other's sentences on our first date. Is this just my imagination? A romantic fantasy?" The teacher, with a serene smile that spoke of deep wisdom, offered a timeless truth. When two souls have danced together before through countless lifetimes, they remember the steps. What feels like a new discovery in this moment is in reality a profound act of remembering a connection that predates this current existence. This immediate recognition isn't a random event. It's the ripening of a karmic seed planted in a distant past, an energetic resonance calling out to its counterpart. This profound, immediate recognition can manifest in various ways, and not always as a purely positive, blissful experience. Sometimes we meet someone and feel instant comfort and trust, an inexplicable sense of safety and ease, as if reuniting with a long-lost part of ourselves. This suggests a positive karmic resonance, perhaps from past lives, where you shared harmony, mutual support, or acts of kindness. This sense of innate safety makes the initial connection feel effortless and deeply reassuring. However, other times we might encounter someone and feel an inexplicable weariness, a subtle sense of apprehension, or even an instinctive fear, despite them showing no outward signs of danger or overt threat. This seemingly irrational negative reaction can be just as much a sign of karmic recognition as the positive one. In the Buddhist view, both reactions, the intense comfort and the inexplicable weariness, can be karmic memories surfacing. Your soul, operating on a deeper subconscious level, is remembering either safety or harm from previous encounters with that specific individual. It's a primal memory of past interactions now manifesting as an immediate, visceral emotional response. In the Buddhist view, these strong initial reactions are not random fleeting emotions. They are important messages serving as signposts pointing towards significant karmic work that needs attention. The person who triggers such intense feelings, whether profoundly positive or unexpectedly negative, is very often someone with whom you have unfinished business from other lifetimes. This unfinished business can encompass a wide spectrum from unfulfilled promises and unresolved conflicts to deep lessons awaiting integration or profound gratitude awaiting conscious expression. The intensity of the initial connection often correlates directly with the magnitude of the karmic work that lies ahead, signaling that this relationship is destined to be a powerful catalyst for your soul's evolution. It's an invitation from the universe to engage deeply with a part of your karmic history that is now ripe for transformation. Have you ever pondered why some marriages seem to flow with an effortless grace, almost as if predestined for harmony, while others, despite profound love, demand constant, arduous work, feeling like an unending negotiation? This stark contrast in relational dynamics isn't random. From a karmic perspective, marriages generally align with distinct energetic blueprints falling into three primary categories based on the accumulated history of the souls involved. These categories illuminate the underlying purpose and challenges inherent in each unique union, offering a framework for deeper understanding and conscious engagement. The first category comprises marriages based on past harmony. These unions occur when two souls have shared profoundly positive experiences in previous lifetimes. Perhaps they were loving family members, devoted friends, or compassionate mentors to one another, building a reservoir of mutual respect, understanding, and kindness. In this current existence, they return to continue their joyful connection, drawn together by an undeniable resonance of peace and goodwill. These relationships often feel remarkably natural and easy from the outset. There's an innate underlying trust and comfort that doesn't need to be painstakingly built from scratch. It simply exists, a familiar warmth that feels like coming home. While challenges will inevitably arise, as they do in all human interactions, they typically don't shake the fundamental foundation of the relationship because the karmic bond is already strong and positive. A Buddhist teacher once beautifully articulated this: these souls aren't learning to love each other in a new way. They're remembering how they already did. Their spiritual work in this lifetime, rather than overcoming past grievances, often centers on avoiding taking this inherent connection for granted, and crucially on using their innate harmony and collective strength to serve others, extending their positive karmic resonance beyond their dyad into the wider world. Their union becomes a beacon of what is possible when positive karmic seeds ripen into effortless love. The second category encompasses marriages based on unresolved conflict. These unions bring together souls who experienced discord, harm, or significant unresolved tension in past connections. The very intensity of their unresolved history creates a powerful magnetic pull, leading to relationships that often feel intensely passionate but inherently turbulent. There's a strong, undeniable attraction that initially binds them, often mistaken for pure romantic love, but this attraction is swiftly followed by equally strong, persistent challenges. Arguments tend to follow familiar, deeply ingrained patterns, triggering profound emotional wounds that seem disproportionate to the immediate situation. What appears as a current disagreement about household chores might in reality be activating a centuries-old karmic pattern of feeling unheard, controlled, or betrayed. The purpose of these marriages, however, is emphatically not punishment. Instead, it is resolution, Each difficult interaction, every moment of friction, offers a meticulously tailored chance to respond differently than in the past, to choose understanding instead of anger, compassion instead of resentment, vulnerability instead of defense. When both partners approach their conflicts with mindfulness and conscious awareness, recognizing the deeper karmic patterns at play, these marriages possess the extraordinary potential to transform from battlegrounds of repeated suffering into healing grounds where old wounds are finally addressed and ancient karmic cycles are liberated. The third category involves marriages based on karmic debt. These unions occur when one soul owes something profound to another, often for harm caused in a previous life, unintentionally or otherwise, or for extraordinary kindness received that created a powerful energetic imbalance. These relationships often manifest as a strong pull that defies logical explanation. One person may feel inexplicably compelled to consistently help, support, or sacrifice for the other, even when the relationship doesn't seem to bring them obvious personal benefits or reciprocal emotional fulfillment. They might find themselves constantly tending to their partner's needs with an almost instinctive devotion, even at great personal cost. This dynamic isn't about conscious altruism. It's a deep, unconscious imperative to balance the karmic ledger. This repayment isn't punitive. It's an opportunity for equilibrium. The soul is driven to reestablish energetic balance, ensuring that the scales of giving and receiving are eventually harmonized. When this debt is repaid with conscious awareness, the relationship fulfills its purpose, allowing both souls to move forward with integrity and freedom. Ancient threads, marriage as a sacred soul connection, across lifetimes. Throughout human history, across virtually all cultures and spiritual traditions, marriage has been perceived as far more than just a social arrangement or a convenient legal contract. In many ancient spiritual philosophies, particularly within various Buddhist and Hindu traditions, it's understood as a sacred continuation of soul connections. This view elevates marriage beyond the mundane, imbuing it with cosmic significance. Ancient texts and oral traditions frequently describe how souls have traveled together through myriad lives, continuously playing different, often contrasting roles for each other, sometimes as lovers, sometimes as siblings, sometimes as parents and children, even occasionally as rivals or enemies. Yet through all these myriad forms, they continue their shared, interconnected journey of growth and evolution, driven by an underlying karmic thread that binds them across the fabric of time. A beautiful and illustrative Buddhist story from the Jataka tales, which recount past lives of the Buddha, tells of a king who, riding through his kingdom, felt an inexplicable, profound urge to stop at a humble home where a young woman was simply drawing water from a well. Despite their vastly different social statuses and the fact that they had never consciously met in this life, both the king and the woman experienced an immediate, powerful recognition. It was a visceral sense of familiarity, a feeling of having always known each other, transcending their current circumstances. Later, through deep meditation and the cultivation of profound insight, the king discovered the astounding truth: they had been together in 7 previous lives. Their intertwined destinies had seen them manifest in various roles, sometimes as loving family members, sometimes as trusted friends, once even as bitter enemies. Each connection, irrespective of its outward form or apparent difficulty, had served its sacred purpose, teaching them something vital about love, forgiveness, compassion, and the interconnected nature of existence. This particular union was the culmination of countless shared experiences, all leading to a specific, ripening karmic purpose in their present lives. This profound perspective fundamentally transforms how we understand and engage with our relationships. It helps us grasp why some relationships feel so immensely meaningful and consequential, even when they are profoundly challenging or seemingly inexplicable from a purely rational standpoint. It's not that we are simply imagining the depth of these connections. It's that we are perhaps unconsciously sensing the accumulated history of many lifetimes together. The emotional intensity, the recurring conflicts, or the effortless harmony all carry the weight of this shared past. When we view marriage through this expansive lens, recognizing its multi-lifetime dimension, we naturally begin to cultivate greater patience and profound compassion for both ourselves and our partners. The irritating habits of our partner, the seemingly random annoyances that can so easily trigger frustration, are no longer viewed as mere personal quirks or intentional provocations. Instead, they are understood as part of a larger story, unfolding between your soul's threads of karma that are ripe for observation and potential resolution. This understanding, however, does not imply a passive acceptance of harmful or abusive behavior. Buddhist teachings always advocate for wisdom discernment and ethical conduct. It does not mean we tolerate mistreatment simply because it's karmic. Rather, it invites us to look deeper at what's truly happening beneath the surface of daily interactions. It encourages us to ask what underlying patterns are being revealed, what wounds are being triggered, what lessons are awaiting our conscious acknowledgement and integration. By recognizing the karmic threads, we gain the clarity and agency to respond consciously, breaking old cycles rather than blindly perpetuating them. It's an invitation to engage with our relationships as profound spiritual laboratories where the raw material of shared history is transmuted into the gold of wisdom and liberation, while the profound understanding of karma reveals the deep historical roots of our relationships, stretching back through countless lifetimes. It is crucial to recognize that this knowledge is not meant to foster a sense of fatalism or resignation. Instead, it serves as a powerful foundation for conscious engagement in the present moment. Zen Buddhism, with its particular emphasis on present moment awareness, offers a uniquely insightful perspective on marriage, one that beautifully complements the karmic framework. It reminds us that while karma undeniably connects us to the past, the transformative power of awakening happens exclusively in the now. The past, even with its intricate karmic threads, holds no ultimate dominion over a mind fully present and aware. This creates a beautiful and dynamic balance in approaching marriage. It encourages us to honor the karmic patterns that have brought us together and shaped our interactions, acknowledging their historical significance, while simultaneously emphasizing the critical importance of not becoming trapped by them. We are not condemned to endlessly reenact the scripts written in previous existences. The Zen master's wisdom cuts to the chase, offering a timeless truth to a troubled couple. Your past together matters. Yes, it has undeniably shaped who you are and how you relate. But your presence with each other right here, right now, matters infinitely more. This statement highlights the agency we possess in every given moment. When you are fully present with your partner, when you genuinely meet them in the here and now, truly seeing them as they are now, not as who they were in a past argument or who you desperately want them to be in an idealized future, the grip of karma begins to subtly yet profoundly dissolve. This is because karmic patterns thrive in the fertile ground of unconscious reaction fueled by memories, projections, and unexamined expectations. Presence, however, starves these patterns of their sustenance. Each time we choose awareness over automatic reactions, each time we meet our partner with a fresh perspective, uncluttered by past resentments or future anxieties, we actively loosen karma's grip and create new possibilities for interaction. It's a continuous process of choice, a dynamic creation of new, more wholesome karma in every shared moment. Practicing this kind of radical presence isn't easy, particularly when our deepest buttons are pushed. It requires immense self-awareness and discipline, especially when our emotional triggers are activated by a partner's words or actions. Our conditioned responses are powerful, often compelling us towards anger, defensiveness, or withdrawal. However, the consistent effort to return to the present, to meet each interaction with open awareness, gradually transforms the relationship. When both partners commit to meeting each other with fresh eyes each day, consciously shedding the accumulated burden of past hurts, assumptions, and future anxieties, the relationship is transmuted. It ceases to be merely a stage for karmic reenactment and becomes a powerful vehicle for accelerated spiritual growth, a living, breathing laboratory for awakening. A simple yet profoundly effective practice from the Zen tradition can significantly help cultivate this transformative presence in marriage. When your partner speaks, try to listen as if hearing them for the very first time. Let go of your preconceived notions, your pre-programmed responses, and your internal narrative about what they're always saying or how they're always behaving. Listen with genuine curiosity and an open heart, as if every word is new and unexpected. When conflict inevitably arises, instead of immediately reacting, pause and take 3 conscious breaths before responding. During those brief moments of mindful breathing, observe the physical sensations in your body, acknowledge the emotions arising within you, and notice the thoughts trying to form a reactive response, all without judgment. Then from that place of calm observation, choose your response. These seemingly small acts of presence are immensely powerful. They can gradually transform even the most challenging karmic relationships, breaking cycles of reactivity and opening pathways for genuine understanding and compassionate engagement. Segment 15: The Peril of Resistance: Why Avoiding Karmic Lessons Only Deepens Them. The journey of transformation within a karmic marriage is not always linear or comfortable. In fact, it often involves periods of intense discomfort, forcing us to confront aspects of ourselves we'd rather avoid. Let's now explore what happens when we resist the karmic lessons our marriage is diligently trying to teach us. This resistance is a common human tendency born from our inherent aversion to pain and our desire for ease. Many people, when facing difficulties in marriage, instinctively look for immediate ways to escape the discomfort. These escape mechanisms can manifest in myriad forms, through blame, projecting all fault onto their partner, through distraction, burying themselves in work hobbies or external pursuits to avoid relational intimacy, through affairs seeking solace and validation outside the challenging primary union, through substance use, numbing the emotional pain, or simply by shutting down emotionally while physically remaining in the relationship, creating a silent, unbridgeable chasm. Each of these strategies, while providing temporary relief, ultimately serves to perpetuate the karmic pattern rather than resolving it. To illustrate the futility of resistance, consider the poignant scene of a woman who, visibly distraught about her marriage, sought solace in a tranquil Buddhist monastery garden. Her heart was heavy with the burden of unfulfilled expectations and unreciprocated efforts. "I've tried everything to make my husband change his hurtful behavior," she lamented to the elderly monk who was diligently tending to the garden. Her words carried the weight of her frustration and the deeply ingrained belief that her happiness depended on her partner's transformation. The monk, without immediately addressing her complaint, looked up from his work and with profound simplicity offered a timeless agricultural metaphor. "My child, when you plant rice, you get rice. When you plant beans, you get beans. Now tell me, what seeds have you planted in this relationship?" The woman was initially confused by his seemingly unrelated question. She had come seeking advice on how to change her husband, not to reflect on her own contributions. Sensing her bewilderment, the monk patiently explained, "Every thought you harbor, every word you utter, and every action you perform is a seed and energetic imprint that will inevitably ripen into a corresponding fruit. If you've primarily planted seeds of trying to change him, expecting him to conform to your desires, you will inevitably harvest resistance from him. If you've planted seeds of blame, continually faulting him for your unhappiness, you will harvest defensiveness. The universe, in its perfect mirroring, simply reflects back the energy you consistently put out. So, my dear, what seeds could you choose to plant instead?" This profound teaching reveals a fundamental, often uncomfortable truth. Resisting karmic lessons only serves to embed them more deeply within our psyche and perpetuate them in our relationships. The more we fight against what our relationships are revealing about ourselves, our attachments, our fears, our unresolved wounds, the more persistent and entrenched those patterns become. It's analogous to struggling in quicksand. The more frantically you fight, the more you flail, the faster and deeper you sink. Our resistance creates friction, reinforcing the very discomfort we seek to escape. The alternative to this self-defeating struggle is radical acceptance, not acceptance of harmful or abusive behavior which should never be tolerated, but acceptance of the reality of what is happening and what it's revealing to you about yourself. When we stop resisting the mirror, when we cease the futile attempt to change external reality without first transforming our internal landscape, and instead start witnessing our patterns with genuine compassion and curiosity, they begin to loosen their powerful hold. This shift in perspective is transformative. It doesn't mean passively enduring abuse. It means facing the uncomfortable truth the relationship is revealing within you before making conscious, empowered decisions about how to move forward. The karmic pattern, once recognized and accepted, loses its power to control your reactions, opening the door for new choices and true liberation. Understood. I will proceed with generating the remaining segments, aiming for approximately 1,750 words each to ensure we meet or slightly exceed the 27,000 word target while maintaining the depth and fidelity to the original Buddhist wisdom. Here is segment 16. Segment 16, the unfolding script, stages of karmic marriage, and the orchestration of destiny. The journey of a karmic marriage is not a monolithic experience. It's a dynamic, multifaceted process that unfolds through distinct phases, each offering unique challenges and opportunities for growth. Across Buddhist traditions, there's a profound understanding that karmic marriage patterns follow certain recognizable stages, much like the natural progression of a plant from seed to fruit. Recognizing these stages can help us navigate the inevitable difficulties with greater awareness, transforming what might otherwise be seen as insurmountable problems into clear signposts on the path to liberation. The initial stage is often marked by recognition. This is that powerful, inexplicable moment of seeing someone and feeling you know them somehow, a profound sense of familiarity that transcends current time and circumstances. It's a deep, intuitive acknowledgement at a soul level, a resonance that vibrates with forgotten histories. This recognition is often followed closely by attraction, the mysterious, compelling pull towards that person. This attraction can manifest despite any logical reasons not to connect. It might defy social norms, personal preferences, or even the advice of loved ones. It's a magnetic force born from past karmic imprints that compels two souls into proximity. Following the initial magnetic pull, many relationships enter what is commonly known as the honeymoon period. In karmic terms, this is a phase where the more challenging aspects of karma are for a time momentarily suspended. During this period, both individuals typically present their most desirable selves, eager to connect to please and to experience the joy of newfound intimacy. It's a time of effortless harmony, shared dreams, and a sense of seamless connection, reinforcing the initial attraction and seemingly validating the romantic ideal of a perfect match. This phase provides a temporary reprieve from deeper karmic friction, allowing the bond to solidify before the real work begins. But inevitably, and often jarringly, the karmic lesson phase begins. This is when the true, often arduous work of the relationship starts. The very qualities that initially attracted you to your partner, or the seemingly minor quirks you once overlooked, can now inexplicably become intense sources of conflict or irritation. The effortless harmony gives way to friction, and the superficial compatibility reveals underlying discord. During this pivotal stage, the relationship functions as a direct mirror, and it begins to reflect parts of yourself you'd rather not see. Your unhealed wounds, your insecurities, your egoic defenses, and your conditioned reactions. This can be profoundly uncomfortable, as the partner often unconsciously triggers precisely what needs healing within you. This is where a significant number of relationships, particularly karmic ones, tragically end. People mistakenly interpret this sudden onset of difficulty and discomfort as a definitive sign that the relationship is inherently wrong or that they have made a terrible mistake. However, from a karmic perspective, the relationship is actually working exactly as karma intended, serving its purpose by bringing deeply embedded patterns to the surface for conscious awareness and resolution. The pain is not a flaw, it's a signal for transformation. If couples possess the awareness, patience, and courage to persist through this difficult stage with conscious awareness, they can reach the transformation phase. This is the crucible where real, profound growth happens. Here, old reactive patterns begin to dissolve, as both partners actively choose new, more conscious responses instead of reenacting familiar scripts. Blame gives way to self-responsibility. Reactivity transforms into mindful pause, and conflict is seen as an opportunity for deeper understanding. The relationship fundamentally shifts from being a source of pain to a profound source of wisdom. It becomes a collaborative journey of healing where mutual support and honest communication lead to deeper intimacy and liberation from entrenched karmic cycles. Finally, for those who successfully navigate these intense phases, there's the liberation phase. This stage doesn't necessarily mean the relationship continues in its original form, nor does it guarantee eternal cohabitation. Sometimes, the specific karmic work between the two souls completes and their individual paths naturally diverge. This separation, if it occurs, is not a failure, but a natural culmination, a conscious unbinding. Whether the individuals remain together or part ways, both people are fundamentally freer than before, having integrated crucial lessons and released old unconscious patterns that would otherwise follow them into future relationships, perpetuating cycles of suffering. A wise teacher once profoundly stated, "The success of a karmic marriage isn't measured by its longevity, by how long it physically lasts, but by the freedom it eventually brings." Whether that freedom is found together within the ongoing union or found apart, each walking a liberated individual path. The true measure lies in the spiritual growth and liberation achieved. The grand orchestra of destiny, karma, free will, and the princess and the gardener. In our modern world, influenced heavily by ideals of individual choice and romantic autonomy, we often hold a strong belief that we select our partners primarily based on personal preferences, shared interests, or immediate physical attraction. We tend to see ourselves as the sole architects of our relational destinies. However, Buddhist wisdom suggests that something far more profound and intricate is at work, orchestrating connections on a scale that transcends our conscious understanding. The ancient teachings tell us that our deepest attractions and aversions are never random. They are in fact carefully orchestrated by karma to bring us exactly the experiences our souls need for growth and ultimate liberation. To illustrate this powerful truth, consider a timeless Buddhist story that highlights the subtle yet undeniable influence of karmic orchestration. There was once a princess of unparalleled beauty and noble birth who by all societal standards could have married any nobleman or prince from powerful kingdoms, ensuring a politically advantageous and socially prestigious union. Yet against all expectations, and much to the shock and dismay of her royal family, she found herself falling deeply and inexplicably in love with a simple gardener who worked on the palace grounds. Her family was naturally appalled by her choice and tirelessly tried to prevent the marriage, viewing it as a catastrophic mismatch and a betrayal of her royal duty. A wise monk, however, observing the situation with compassionate insight, approached the distressed king and offered a profound perspective. "Your daughter, Majesty, isn't making a mistake in the way you perceive it. Her soul, operating on a level far beyond her conscious mind, recognizes this man from many lifetimes of profound connection. There is a vital learning here that her soul deeply seeks a karmic imperative that transcends social status, though her conscious mind doesn't yet fully understand why. The princess's seemingly irrational attraction was in fact a deep soul-level recognition a karmic pull towards a destined teacher or partner. This profound perspective does not, however, mean that we utterly lack free will in choosing our partners. Buddhist philosophy offers a nuanced view, suggesting that our will operates on multiple, interconnected levels. Our conscious mind certainly makes choices based on what we know, what we desire, and what we logically assess in the present moment. We decide to swipe right on a dating app, to accept a date, or to propose marriage based on our current understanding and preferences. However, our deeper consciousness, our soul's innate drive for evolution, is simultaneously drawn toward what will ultimately help us evolve spiritually, even if that evolutionary path inevitably includes significant challenges, friction, or discomfort. The tension between conscious preference and karmic pull can create confusing and often painful dilemmas. Understanding this multi-layered operation of will can fundamentally transform how we view the seemingly irrational attractions we sometimes feel. Instead of harshly judging ourselves for being drawn to someone who might not match our conscious idealized idea of a suitable partner or someone who appears to bring more challenge than comfort, we can ask a more insightful question. What is my soul trying to learn through this specific connection? This inquiry shifts the narrative from self-blame or external blame to one of curiosity and spiritual growth. It allows us to recognize that even our most perplexing attractions are part of a meticulously designed curriculum serving as precise catalysts for our deepest healing and awakening. It reminds us that every person who enters our lives, especially those with whom we form intimate bonds, carries a specific karmic message, an invitation to a deeper understanding of self and reality. Segment 17. The Dance of Free Will and Karma. Adjusting the sails of your destiny. A fundamental question arises when confronted with the powerful notion that karma largely determines who we marry. If karma meticulously orchestrates our relationships, does this imply that we are perpetually destined to repeat painful patterns without any real choice or agency? The resounding answer from Buddhist teachings is absolutely not. This is a crucial clarification, as a deterministic understanding of karma can lead to fatalism, disempowerment, and the misguided acceptance of suffering. Instead, Buddhist philosophy presents a nuanced and empowering view, while karma creates the specific circumstances, tendencies, and attractions that draw us to particular individuals and shape our relational dynamics. Awareness creates the profound freedom to respond differently within those very circumstances. A wise meditation master once illuminated this intricate interplay with a beautiful metaphor. Karma is like the wind that blows your boat in a certain direction. You didn't create the wind. Its currents are born from past actions and conditions beyond your immediate control. But you always have the power to adjust your sails. This means that while the prevailing karmic winds might initially push your boat towards specific types of relationships or particular challenges, your conscious choices in the present moment determine how you navigate that journey. You can learn to work with the wind rather than futilely fighting against it, harnessing its energy while still steering your vessel, ultimately reaching a destination of your own, choosing one that aligns with your highest intentions for growth and peace. This powerful analogy underscores that our agency lies not in controlling the past or the initial conditions, but in our conscious response to them in the present. This liberating principle applies with immense power to the intimate crucible of marriage. Even in the most challenging or seemingly predetermined unions, you possess tremendous power. You may not be able to control the deep-seated karmic forces that initially brought you and your partner together, nor can you unilaterally control the unhealed wounds or conditioned responses that your partner carries. However, you retain absolute control over your response to them. Every single moment within the relationship offers a new opportunity to either unconsciously reinforce old entrenched patterns or to consciously choose new responses that gradually create new, more wholesome karma. Each conscious choice, each mindful breath before reacting, each deliberate act of compassion or understanding becomes a subtle yet powerful thread in the weaving of a new, more positive pattern that gradually replaces the old reactive ones. Consider the transformative journey of a woman who courageously practiced this principle in her own profoundly difficult marriage. Her husband had a deeply ingrained pattern of emotional withdrawal during conflict, a behavior that consistently triggered her own fears of abandonment and rejection, leading to explosive arguments. Instead of reacting with her familiar anger and desperate pursuit, she began consciously responding with calm compassion, asking open-ended questions about what he was feeling and holding space for his inner experience. At first, as is often the case with deep-seated patterns, nothing overtly changed in his behavior. Her new responses were met with the same withdrawal, the same silence. However, gradually over time, as she consistently chose new responses, cultivating patience and understanding within herself, rather than demanding it from him, their entire relationship dynamic subtly but profoundly shifted. Years later, in a testament to the power of self-transformation, she told her spiritual teacher, "I honestly thought I needed a different husband for our relationship to change, but I eventually realized that I actually needed to become a different wife. When I changed, everything in our dynamic eventually changed." This deeply personal transformation illustrates a fundamental truth. While karma might determine who you marry, setting the stage and providing the initial cast, it emphatically does not determine what that marriage becomes. That profound power of transformation, of shaping the ongoing narrative and experience of the union, remains firmly in your hands through the countless conscious choices you make each day. Understanding the nuances karma as education, not punishment, and the three paths of marital resolution. It is vital to address a common and often dangerous misunderstanding about karmic marriage: the belief that suffering in a relationship is always meant to be, or that it should be passively endured because it's simply our karma. This is a dangerous distortion of Buddhist teachings and can lead to prolonged suffering and the perpetuation of harmful dynamics. Buddhist wisdom makes a clear distinction. Karma brings us the circumstances and experiences we need for learning, but it never demands that we remain trapped in situations of abuse, severe harm, or profound unresolvable spiritual diminishment. Sometimes the karmic lesson is precisely about setting clear, compassionate boundaries, learning to value yourself, or courageously walking away from what diminishes your spirit and prevents your true flourishing. While all relationships inherently include challenges and periods of discomfort, there's a critical distinction between difficulties that genuinely promote growth and situations that systematically destroy one's well-being. True karmic learning never requires ongoing abuse or deeply harmful treatment. In fact, one of the most important karmic lessons of all can be learning to love yourself enough to leave. A woman who courageously left an abusive marriage later shared her story with a Buddhist nun, recounting years of suffering under the misconception that it was her spiritual duty to endure it. "I stayed for years," she confessed, "believing it was my karma to suffer this way, that I deserved it or needed to endure it as some form of atonement." The nun listened with profound compassion and then gently clarified, "My dear, karma does not work through punishment, but through teaching. If through your experience you have finally learned that you fundamentally deserve respect, safety, and healthy love, then karma has precisely done its work. Continuing to suffer beyond that point teaches nothing new of spiritual value. It merely perpetuates a cycle that has served its purpose." This powerful exchange highlights a crucial aspect of karmic relationships. They are meant to evolve us, to expand our consciousness, not to diminish or destroy us. When a relationship consistently and fundamentally diminishes your spirit, your mental health, or your fundamental well-being over time, despite your genuine and conscious efforts to bring awareness and healing to it, that's often a clear sign that the highest choice for both individuals may be to end it, not to endure it. When it comes to the resolution of karmic patterns within marriage, Buddhist teachings suggest there are generally 3 possibilities with karmic marriages, each reflecting a different path of conscious engagement and spiritual growth, healing together. This is often the ideal outcome when both partners are committed to conscious growth. It happens when both individuals recognize their own patterns, acknowledge the interplay of their respective karmas, and consciously work to transform them while remaining in the relationship. This path requires immense commitment, courage, patience, and a willingness from both people to engage in deep self-reflection and compassionate communication. When successful, it leads to profound healing for both individuals and transforms the relationship into a powerful vehicle for mutual awakening, creating a harmonious and supportive environment for spiritual evolution. It is a beautiful testament to the power of shared intention and effort, healing separately. This path occurs when one or both individuals need to end the relationship to continue their necessary growth. This is emphatically not a failure of the marriage in the spiritual sense. Instead, it is a conscious recognition that the karmic lesson has been completed, or that the learning needs to continue in a different form or context. Many spiritual traditions acknowledge that sometimes the most compassionate and courageous choice for the highest good of both individuals is to release each other from patterns that no longer serve their evolution, even if love or a sense of history remains. This parting, when approached with awareness and mutual respect, allows each soul to pursue their unique trajectory of growth, unburdened by a dynamic that has served its purpose, continuing the cycle. This unfortunate outcome happens when individuals remain physically together in the relationship, but actively resist the profound growth their relationship offers. They cling to old patterns, avoid self-reflection, and consistently keep repeating the same conflicts, often resorting to blaming each other rather than looking inward at their own participation in the dynamic. They may stay together due to fear, obligation, or sheer inertia, but the lack of conscious engagement means the karmic lessons remain unlearned. Unfortunately, if the underlying lesson isn't learned and integrated in this relationship, the same or very similar patterns will likely appear in the next one, perpetuating the cycle of suffering across lifetimes. This highlights the urgency of conscious engagement. The universe will keep presenting the lesson until it is mastered. Segment 18: Practical Pathways to Transformation, Mindful Engagement, and the Ascent to Dharma Marriages. Beyond the theoretical understanding of karma's intricate weave, Buddhist wisdom offers profoundly practical guidance for those wanting to consciously transform the karma in their marriage. These aren't abstract philosophical concepts, but actionable practices designed to shift ingrained patterns and foster deeper awareness within intimate relationships. The core of this transformation lies in altering our responses to the inevitable triggers and challenges that arise in shared life. The first crucial practice is mindful observation. This involves deliberately watching your reactions without immediately acting on them. When a partner's words or actions trigger a strong emotional response within you, be it anger, defensiveness, sadness, or fear, the immediate human tendency is to react instinctively, often from conditioned unconscious patterns. Mindful observation invites a pause. Can you halt that automatic response? Can you simply pause and observe the emotions rising within you before responding? A couple deeply embroiled in recurring arguments once sought help from a wise Zen teacher at a monastery. The teacher gave them a remarkably simple yet revolutionary instruction. For 1 month before responding to anything that upsets you about the other, silently count to 10 while focusing on your breath. This basic practice, seemingly too simple to be effective, creates a vital space between the trigger and your response. In that small conscious gap, new choices become possible where previously none seemed to exist. Instead of being carried away by the powerful current of conditioning, you gain a moment of agency, allowing you to observe the karmic pattern as it tries to play out, and then consciously choose whether to reinforce it or to act differently. This space is where true transformation begins, where reactive karma loses its power and conscious choice begins to create new, more liberated patterns. The second vital practice is self-inquiry. When strong emotions or recurring conflicts arise in your marriage, instead of immediately blaming your partner or focusing on their perceived flaws, turn the lens inward. Ask yourself, what part of me is being activated here? What old wound or fear is being touched by this interaction? This profound shift in attention from external blame to internal understanding is foundational. A man, for instance, realized through this practice that his extreme disproportionate anger when his wife was late wasn't truly about her tardiness. Through honest self-inquiry, he connected it to deeply ingrained childhood experiences of feeling forgotten and unimportant when his parents frequently failed to pick him up on time. This awareness didn't immediately solve the problem of his wife's punctuality, but it changed his perspective completely. He understood that his intense reaction was largely a projection of his own unhealed childhood wound, not simply a justifiable response to her behavior. This understanding empowers you to address the root cause within yourself, leading to healing that transcends the immediate relational trigger. The third practical pathway is compassionate communication. This means cultivating the ability to speak your truth with profound honesty while simultaneously remaining genuinely open to your partner's experience as equally valid. It moves beyond the adversarial nature of typical conflict. It means expressing your feelings, needs, and concerns without accusation or blame, taking ownership of your own emotional landscape. And it means listening to your partner without defensiveness, truly hearing their perspective without immediately formulating your rebuttal or invalidating their feelings. These practices don't guarantee a specific outcome for your marriage. Some relationships through this work transform beautifully into deeply conscious partnerships. Others may, upon reaching a point of karmic completion, naturally and peacefully come to an end. However, regardless of the eventual outcome, engaging in these practices ensures that you'll carry less karmic baggage forward, leaving behind the heavy weight of unresolved patterns and creating vital space for more conscious, liberated connections in the future, transcending the ordinary. The ideal of Dharma. Marriages. When we discuss the intricate dance of karma in marriage, it's essential to acknowledge a rarer, elevated form of union that seems to transcend the usual patterns of attachment expectation and power struggles. These are what are sometimes referred to as Dharma marriages in Buddhist tradition. These are relationships that are profoundly aligned with truth, wisdom, and a shared spiritual purpose, moving beyond personal gratification to a higher collective aim. A poignant story illustrates this elevated form of connection. Two devoted meditation practitioners met at a quiet retreat, neither actively seeking a relationship, their focus entirely on their individual spiritual paths. Yet a profound and undeniable recognition occurred between them, a deep resonance that spoke of a destiny far beyond ordinary romance. They eventually married, but their connection was strikingly different from ordinary marriages. They meticulously maintained their individual spiritual practices, their daily meditations, their solitary reflections, understanding that individual autonomy was essential for their joint journey. Simultaneously, they wholeheartedly supported each other's growth, acting as catalysts for mutual awakening. Their communication was remarkably honest, yet always kind, navigating differences with a shared commitment to truth and compassion. Most notably, they seemed profoundly free from the possessiveness and fear that plagues so many relationships, embodying a love that was expansive and unburdened. A teacher observing them explained to his students, "What you're witnessing here is rare. This is a relationship largely free from karmic entanglement in the way you usually understand it." He clarified that these two souls had already done significant inner work in previous lives, resolving many personal karmic patterns. They had now come together not primarily to resolve old patterns or settle ancient debts, but to serve a greater purpose, to align their energies in service of the Dharma. Such relationships, while not immune to the inherent challenges of human experience for perfection, does not exist in samsara, operate from a deep foundation of awareness rather than unconscious patterns. These couples don't look to each other to fill inner emptiness or to heal old wounds in the way typical karmic relationships do. Instead, they join together as whole self-sufficient individuals to create something greater than themselves, a partnership that serves not just their own happiness, but the well-being and spiritual evolution of others and the wider world. Their union becomes a living manifestation of conscious, liberated love. Most of us living in the dense tapestry of samsara inevitably begin with more karmic entanglement in our relationships. This is perfectly normal and an intrinsic part of the human journey towards awakening. However, understanding that these freedom-based, Dharma-aligned relationships exist provides us with a profound vision of what's possible as we diligently do our own inner work. It serves as an inspiring beacon, demonstrating that with consistent awareness, compassion, and commitment to personal transformation, our relationships too can evolve from crucibles of karmic resolution to profound vehicles for universal service and spiritual liberation. The silent hand, cultural and family influences on our karmic blueprints. Beyond the individual soul's karmic journey, our intimate relationships are also profoundly shaped by broader societal and ancestral currents. Let's now examine how cultural and family influences intricately interact with the karma of marriage. While karma operates on an individual soul level, guiding our personal destiny, it also flows through the lineages of our families and cultural traditions, creating collective patterns that affect successive generations. The relationship patterns we observe in our parents' marriage often reappear in our own relationships. This isn't solely due to simple psychological modeling, where we unconsciously imitate what we've seen. Crucially, it's also because of shared karmic patterns that run through family lineages. A man once confided in his spiritual teacher, "I swore I would never be like my father, who was always critical of my mother. Yet to my horror, I find myself speaking to my wife in exactly the same cutting tone he used. It horrifies me when I hear his words coming out of my mouth." The teacher, recognizing the deep energetic roots of such repetition, simply nodded and said, "Family karma is powerful. The patterns repeat until someone, usually a conscious individual in the lineage, becomes aware enough to consciously break the cycle." Family karma functions as a potent subset of our individual karma. The specific family we are born into is rarely random. It's meticulously aligned with the karmic lessons our soul needs to learn in this particular incarnation. The relationship patterns we observe growing up, how conflict is handled, how affection is expressed, how power dynamics play out, how emotions are suppressed or expressed, become deeply ingrained templates operating far beneath our conscious awareness. These patterns continue to influence our choices and reactions in our own relationships until we shine the light of mindfulness on them, bringing them into conscious awareness for examination and transformation. Similarly, cultural expectations around marriage carry their own karmic momentum. In some cultures, marriages are still traditionally arranged by families, sometimes with minimal direct input from the individuals involved. From a karmic perspective, this doesn't necessarily interfere with the deeper soul connections or karmic imperatives. Karma is intelligent and adaptable. It can work through any system, whether arranged marriages, online dating algorithms, or chance encounters to bring together the souls who need to meet for their mutual evolution. A Buddhist teacher once observed, whether a marriage is arranged by families based on societal norms or chosen for love based on individual preference, the souls involved have at some deeper level agreed to the connection. The outer form of how relationships begin varies across cultures and eras, but the inner karmic work, the fundamental lessons and balancing acts, remains universally the same. This perspective offers a compassionate understanding of diverse marital practices, recognizing the underlying karmic intelligence at play, regardless of external forms. The intricate web of karma extends far beyond the immediate dyad of a married couple, profoundly influencing and encompassing everyone connected to their union. Buddhist teachings reveal that the karma of marriage affects not just the couple themselves, but every individual intertwined with their lives, especially their children. Children, from this perspective, are not random additions to a family unit. They are karmically drawn to specific parents who will provide precisely the experiences their souls need for their unique evolutionary journey. This alignment ensures that the lessons, challenges, and opportunities presented within the family dynamic are perfectly tailored for each soul's spiritual development. A powerful narrative from a Buddhist story beautifully illustrates this concept. It tells of a wise monk renowned for his ability to see past connections, the karmic threads binding individuals across lifetimes. When a couple, distraught and desperate for guidance, brought their troubled child to him, lamenting their difficulties in raising the child, the monk sat in deep meditation. After a period of serene contemplation, he gently revealed a profound truth. This soul, your child, has in fact been your teacher in 3 previous lives. Now they have come again in this new role as your child to continue teaching you once more. This time, their lessons are precisely about cultivating patience, embodying unconditional love, and releasing your rigid expectations of what parenthood should be. This insight transforms the perception of parenting challenges from burdens into sacred opportunities for growth. This perspective radically transforms how we view the common, often overwhelming family challenges that inevitably arise through marriage and parenthood. The difficulties are not arbitrary punishments or unfortunate strokes of bad luck. Instead, they are profound opportunities for everyone involved to actively resolve karmic patterns and grow spiritually. The child's behaviors, the parent's reactions, the family's dynamics, all are intricately interwoven, providing the precise conditions for the ripening of karma and the unfolding of wisdom. Even the painful and often disruptive experience of divorce, when it occurs, becomes part of this larger karmic picture. Children who experience their parents' separation are not merely innocent victims of random misfortune. They are, from this higher perspective, souls experiencing precisely what they need for their own evolution. Challenging though it may be in its immediate impact, the experience serves a deeper purpose in their individual karmic journeys. This understanding does not by any means justify harmful or abusive behavior during divorce. Accountability for such actions remains firmly with the individual perpetrators. Rather, it helps us understand that even the most painful experiences, when viewed through the lens of karma, serve a purposeful function in the larger multi-lifetime spiritual journey of each soul involved. The paradox of emptiness, karma, free will, and the flowing river of reality. An important and often perplexing question arises when reconciling the idea of karmic determination in relationships with the profound Buddhist teaching that all phenomena are ultimately empty of inherent existence, shunyata. If karma dictates our connections, how can anything be empty? This touches on deep philosophical territory, inviting a nuanced understanding of reality that transcends dualistic thinking. Buddhist emptiness teachings, particularly those from the Mahayana tradition, do not assert that things do not exist. Rather, they state that phenomena, while appearing solid and independent, are empty of any fixed, immutable, or self-sufficient existence. They are interdependent, constantly changing, and lack an intrinsic, unchanging essence. Applying this to karma shunyata tells us that while karma undeniably creates powerful patterns and connections that manifest in our lives, these patterns themselves do not possess a solid, unchangeable, or absolutely predetermined existence. They are not like rigid, immutable stone monuments, fixed in time and space. Instead, they are more like rivers than stone monuments. They are flowing, dynamic, constantly changing, and profoundly responsive to new conditions, new intentions, and conscious choices made in the present moment. The karmic connections between two people are profoundly real in their effects and influence, yet they are not fixed or predetermined in an absolute, unalterable sense. The potential for change and liberation always exists within the framework of impermanence and interdependence. A Zen master renowned for his ability to simplify complex truths explained this beautifully. The karma that brings two people together in marriage is like two streams merging to form a river. The initial meeting, the confluence, is neither random nor absolutely fated. It arises from specific causes and conditions from countless prior interactions. Yet how that resulting river, the relationship, flows after that depends entirely on countless choices made with each new moment. This powerful analogy highlights the dynamic interplay between karma and free will. Karma sets the stage, bringing the actors together and establishing the initial landscape. But the play itself, how the characters interact, what choices they make, whether they grow or stagnate, is continually shaped by conscious awareness in the present. This perspective places us on a profound middle path between extremes. We are neither helpless victims of predetermined relationships completely at the mercy of past karma, nor are we entirely free from karmic influences able to manifest any relationship at will. We operate in this dynamic space, influenced by karma, yet capable of tremendous freedom through awareness. Our conscious choices in the present moment have the power to alter the trajectory of karmic streams to create new causes that lead to new effects. The emptiness teaching also serves as a liberating reminder not to cling too tightly to explanations about why we are with a particular person or to our own understanding of our karmic journey. All concepts, even profound and beautiful ones, about soul connections across lifetimes are ultimately just concepts, useful pointers, helpful frameworks for understanding reality, but not absolute truths in themselves. The deepest wisdom, the most profound liberation, comes not from intellectually grasping these concepts, but from directly experiencing each moment of our relationships with open, unconditioned awareness, transcending all theories, stories, and fixed notions of self and other. The digital thread technology, modern dating, and the unfolding of karma. In the rapidly evolving landscape of the 21st century, questions naturally arise about the impact of modern phenomena, such as technology and online dating, on these ancient karmic dynamics. Some people genuinely wonder if dating apps, online matchmaking algorithms, or the increasingly digital nature of human connection somehow interfere with natural karmic connections, disrupting a supposedly organic flow of destiny. From a Buddhist perspective, however, karma is an all-encompassing, pervasive force. It is infinitely adaptable and operates through all available channels. A wise Buddhist teacher residing in the heart of Silicon Valley a nexus of technological innovation, was once posed this very question: does technology disrupt karma? Can a dating algorithm bypass destiny? She smiled, embodying a deep understanding of universal laws, and replied, "Karma is far more powerful and pervasive than any human invention. If two souls are truly meant to meet for karmic purposes, if their karmic threads are ripe for interaction, that meeting will absolutely happen regardless of the medium. Whether it's through a chance encounter on a bustling street, a traditional arranged marriage, or indeed an algorithm on a dating app that connects them based on shared preferences, karma will find its way. The technology is merely a vehicle, another set of conditions through which karmic patterns can manifest." This perspective, however, doesn't imply that all technological approaches to finding partners are equally beneficial or spiritually neutral. Apps or platforms that emphasize superficial characteristics, promote a consumerist approach to relationships, or encourage treating potential partners as disposable options can indeed reinforce patterns of attachment and aversion, clinging to idealized images, or quickly dismissing individuals who don't fit a narrow conditioned preference, rather than fostering mindful, authentic connection. Such platforms, when used unconsciously, can perpetuate cycles of superficiality and dissatisfaction. However, conversely, technology that genuinely helps people connect who might never otherwise meet due to geographical barriers, social circles, or life circumstances can sometimes serve as a powerful karmic facilitator. It broadens the field of potential interaction, allowing karmic threads to cross in ways previously impossible. The key, therefore, is bringing awareness to how we use these tools, rather than condemning the tools themselves. Are we approaching potential partners with mindfulness and genuine respect for the profound connection that might develop, recognizing the potential for deep karmic unfolding? Or are we operating on autopilot, mindlessly swiping based on conditioned preferences, superficial judgments, and a consumerist mindset? The technology itself is neutral, a mere instrument. What truly matters is the consciousness we bring to it and the intention with which we engage. A young woman initially skeptical about dating apps shared her transformative experience. "I was hesitant, but I decided to try one. The very first person I connected with felt strangely familiar from our first conversation. We later discovered we had grown up just blocks from each other, attended the same large events without ever crossing paths. It truly felt like karma had been trying to bring us together for years, creating countless near misses, and finally succeeded through this app." This story beautifully illustrates how karma can indeed leverage even the most modern inventions to fulfill its ancient, intricate designs. Segment 20, Unrequited Recognition, the Karma of Intimacy and the Soul's Grand Design. One of the most challenging and often heartbreaking aspects of karmic relationships manifests when we feel an intensely deep connection to someone who doesn't seem to recognize the connection with the same intensity, or who, for reasons unclear, chooses not to pursue it in the way we envision. This one-sided karmic recognition can be exquisitely painful, leaving one individual feeling bewildered, emotionally exposed, and deeply wounded by an unreciprocated bond. A man grappling with this very dilemma once asked a meditation teacher why he felt such a powerful, almost spiritual bond with someone who simply did not return his feelings, seemingly oblivious to the connection he perceived. The teacher, with profound compassion, explained, Karmic recognition isn't always mutual, at least not in the same lifetime or not at the same conscious level. Sometimes one soul remembers with vivid clarity while the other isn't ready or able to remember yet. This doesn't mean the connection isn't real or profound. It only means its fulfillment, its ultimate unfolding, may lie in a different time or manifest in a different form than you currently expect. This teaching offers a much-needed layer of comfort and understanding to those experiencing the agony of unrequited connections. The pain of such experiences is undeniably real and profoundly deserves compassion, not dismissal. However, understanding that souls operate on different timelines, evolving at their own pace and ripening their karma uniquely, can help to gently release the powerful attachment to a particular outcome in this lifetime. Sometimes the karmic work necessary within such a dynamic isn't to form a conventional romantic relationship, but rather to learn a deeper, more liberating lesson to honor a profound connection while simultaneously letting go of rigid expectations about its form. A woman shared her transformative journey with this difficult lesson. For years, I believed this person was my soulmate, my ultimate partner, despite their consistent unavailability. The pain of their emotional distance was overwhelming, a constant ache in my heart. Then, through intense inner work and reflection, I finally realized that my task wasn't to force them into my life as a partner. It was to learn to love without possession or expectation, to cultivate a love that was truly unconditional and unburdened by my ego's demands. Once I embraced that profound lesson, the pain slowly but miraculously transformed into a strange, expansive kind of peace. From the Buddhist perspective, even connections that don't manifest as ongoing, reciprocal relationships serve a vital purpose in our soul's journey. No true recognition, no genuine energetic resonance is ever wasted. It always teaches us something essential about the nature of love, the perils of attachment, and the fluid, ever-changing nature of reality itself. The sacred energy of intimacy, sexuality, traits, and soul contracts. Let's delve deeper into how sexual attraction relates to the karma of marriage. Physical attraction often serves as the initial undeniable pull, the powerful magnetic force that brings potential partners into close proximity. It is a biological and energetic imperative designed to initiate interaction. However, Buddhist wisdom views this as just the surface manifestation of much deeper karmic currents. A teacher once explained, sexual attraction is like a hook that karma subtly yet precisely uses to bring two souls into proximity. Its purpose is to initiate contact so their deeper, often unaddressed karmic work can truly begin. The attraction itself, therefore, isn't the ultimate purpose of the connection. It is merely the doorway through which the real, profound purpose enters. This explains why intense physical attraction, alone devoid of deeper conscious engagement, rarely creates lasting happiness or profound fulfillment in relationships. Once it has served its initial purpose of bringing two people together, the deeper karmic patterns, either for healing and growth or for continued unconscious repetition, inevitably emerge, demanding attention. In some cases, extraordinarily intense physical chemistry between individuals can indeed indicate a powerful karmic bond, whether that bond is destined to be positive and harmonious or challenging and transformative. The intensity of the attraction often directly corresponds to the intensity and depth of the karmic work waiting to be done between those souls. This doesn't mean passionate relationships are inherently more meant to be than gentle ones. It simply means different souls have different, often complex work to do together. A spiritual counselor observed, the relationships with the most intense physical pull often involve the most intense karmic entanglement. This is neither inherently good nor bad. It simply indicates the magnitude of the energetic connection and the potential for either profound healing or profound suffering, entirely dependent on the level of consciousness brought to it. Understanding this can help us approach physical attraction more wisely, neither dismissing its powerful significance nor mistaking it for the entirety of what brings two people together in a lasting union. Like everything in Buddhism, it's about finding the middle path, honoring physical connection and its role without becoming enslaved by its often fleeting allure. Furthermore, people often wonder if certain physical or personality traits in their partners, particularly those they are repeatedly drawn to, are karmically significant. Why do we find ourselves consistently attracted to specific characteristics, even if they've led to past difficulties? Buddhist wisdom suggests these patterns are not random, but reflect deep karmic imprints from past experiences. A woman noticed she consistently felt attracted to men with remarkably deep, resonant voices. During a deep meditation, she had a vivid, almost memory-like experience of being a lost child in a dense forest in what seemed like another lifetime, being found and comforted by someone with a strikingly similar voice. Her meditation teacher explained, "Our attractions often contain fragments of past experiences, echoes of individuals who either helped us or hurt us profoundly. The soul remembers these imprints even when the conscious mind has no direct recollection." This principle applies equally to personality traits. Someone repeatedly attracted to highly intellectual partners might be working through karma related to overvaluing the mind over the heart or needing intellectual validation. Someone consistently drawn to caretaker types might be addressing karmic patterns around dependency or conversely learning to nurture themselves. These patterns only become problematic when they operate unconsciously. When we bring awareness to our attractions, we can begin to ask what these patterns are genuinely trying to teach us. Sometimes, honoring the lesson means continuing to choose similar partners, but with greater consciousness, engaging with the dynamic differently. Other times, it means deliberately choosing differently consciously, breaking a karmic cycle that no longer serves our growth. A spiritual guide wisely advised, pay close attention when you feel that magnetic, almost irrational pull towards specific traits in others. Your soul is trying to show you something profoundly important about your ongoing journey, either a deep healing that needs to happen or a precious gift from the past that continues to bless you. Traditional Buddhist teachings, while not explicitly using the modern Western term soul contracts, align very closely with the idea that before birth, souls agree to certain relationships and profound lessons they will experience together. This concept resonates deeply with Buddhist understandings of how karma operates across countless lifetimes, guiding souls through interconnected experiences designed for mutual evolution. A teacher explained it this way: before taking birth into a new physical form, consciousness does not forget its previous journeys. In that state of greater pre-physical awareness, souls recognize what remains unfinished, what lessons need to be revisited, and what connections need to be rekindled. There is a profound level of agreement, not like a business contract in the human sense, but more like a natural, intuitive recognition of what comes next in the overarching journey of awakening. This perspective can bring immense comfort when relationships are intensely challenging. If on some deeper level we consciously chose these connections for our own spiritual growth, even the profound difficulties within them acquire meaning and purpose. This doesn't imply that we should passively accept harmful situations or mistreatment. Responsibility always lies with the person choosing harmful actions, but it does help us approach relationship challenges with less victimhood and more profound curiosity about what we are truly meant to learn to heal and to integrate. A woman who survived an abusive marriage and eventually found profound healing courageously shared her journey. For years, I endlessly asked, why did this happen to me? Eventually, through dedicated meditation and therapy, the question slowly transformed in my heart to what was this meant to teach me. That fundamental shift from why me to what's the lesson completely changed my relationship with the entire experience. I still acknowledge that the harm was unequivocally wrong, but I also now recognize the profound growth and self-love that eventually emerged from it. This soul contract perspective doesn't absolve anyone of responsibility for abusive behavior. Rather, it suggests that even within deeply painful experiences, there are profound opportunities for the soul's growth and liberation opportunities that we may have implicitly recognized before birth, even if that recognition is not immediately available to our conscious mind in this lifetime. Conclusion: marriage is the path to liberation and awakening. Ultimately, understanding the karma of marriage is not about finding someone to blame for relational difficulties, nor is it about using spiritual concepts to justify staying in harmful or unfulfilling situations. It is above all about bringing greater awareness and profound insight to one of life's most powerful spiritual crucibles. Marriage, when viewed through the compassionate and discerning lens of karma, becomes neither a naive romantic fantasy nor merely a mundane social arrangement. Instead, it is revealed as a sacred and unparalleled opportunity for souls to heal, to grow, and to awaken together. When two people commit to this journey with open eyes, receptive hearts, and a conscious intention to evolve, their relationship transforms into a powerful vehicle for both profound personal transformation and genuine service to others. A wise monk once eloquently summarized this truth: the truest purpose of karmic marriage is to love each other into liberation, not to create attachment disguised as love, which inevitably creates bondage. But true love, the love that recognizes and respects the other's journey, which paradoxically creates ultimate freedom. When we approach our most intimate relationships with this deep understanding, everything within them transforms, not just the dynamics of our marriages, but our entire experience of being human. Whether you are currently married, navigating the complexities of a long-term partnership single, and contemplating future relationships, or actively healing from a relationship that has ended, these timeless Buddhist teachings offer profound perspectives that can bring greater peace, clarity, and purpose to your path. Every relationship you have ever had, regardless of its duration or intensity, has served your soul's unique evolution. Every person who has touched your heart, whether for a fleeting moment or an entire lifetime, has been an integral part of your overarching karmic journey. As you continue to reflect on these insights, I invite you to contemplate your own relationships with a spirit of profound compassion and gentle curiosity. What recurring patterns do you notice in your past or present connections? What deeper lessons seem to be patiently repeating themselves, awaiting your conscious recognition? What might your soul truly be trying to learn, to heal, or to integrate through your connections with others? The answers to these questions are not external. They contain profound wisdom that is uniquely yours to discover, residing within the depths of your own being. Remember that while karma, with its unseen threads of cause and effect, may undeniably influence who you are drawn to marry and the initial challenges that arise, it is your consciousness, your awareness, your intention, and your choices in the present moment that ultimately determines what that marriage becomes. With each mindful choice you make, each moment of conscious presence you bring to an interaction, each sincere act of forgiveness or compassion you extend, you are actively creating new, wholesome karma. You are weaving brighter, more harmonious threads into the grand tapestry of your life and into the lives you touch. This is the true liberating power and immense promise of understanding the karma of marriage. It is not about fatalism, but about profound empowerment. Friends, we have now completed our extensive exploration of the karma of marriage, delving into why you marry who you marry and how this profound understanding can fundamentally transform all your relationships. We've discovered that marriages are not random occurrences, but rather karmically precise arrangements, meticulously designed to bring forth exactly the lessons, the challenges, and the unique opportunities your soul needs for its ongoing evolution. We've explored practical strategies for recognizing karmic patterns as they arise, learned how to consciously work with them, and understood the process of gradually transforming them through sustained awareness and compassionate action. We've seen how marriage can function not merely as a social arrangement or a source of personal fulfillment, but as a truly powerful spiritual path that accelerates awakening through its unique combination of deep intimacy, constant challenge, and unparalleled opportunities for daily spiritual practice. Whether you are currently in a marriage that feels blessed and harmonious, or one that is deeply challenged, whether you are single and contemplating future relationships, or actively healing from a relationship that has recently ended, these timeless teachings offer profound wisdom that can illuminate your path. By understanding the karmic dimensions of your relationships, you gain an expansive perspective that helps you respond to both the joys and the difficulties with greater awareness, deeper compassion, and unwavering peace. Remember that while karma may initially determine who you are drawn to marry and the initial conditions of your union, it is your consciousness that determines what that marriage ultimately becomes. With each mindful breath, each moment of presence, each act of forgiveness or compassion, you actively create new karma that gradually replaces old patterns, forging a path towards greater freedom. This is the profound opportunity marriage offers, not just happiness in the conventional sense, but ultimate liberation from unconscious patterns and a profound awakening to your true, unbounded nature. As you continue your unique journey, I invite you to approach all your relationships, intimate, familial, platonic, and professional, with gentle curiosity rather than harsh judgment, with patient presence rather than reactive impulsiveness, and with genuine compassion for both yourself and all others. The karmic patterns that have shaped your relationships are not punishments or curses. They are precise opportunities, sacred invitations to heal, to grow, and to awaken. Thank you for joining me on this extensive exploration of the karma of marriage. May these profound teachings bring ever-increasing awareness, compassion, and lasting peace to all your relationships now and in the future. May your marriage, whether current, past, or yet to come, serve not just your personal happiness, but your deepest spiritual awakening, and ultimately the profound benefit of all beings. May you walk the path of relationship with unwavering awareness, boundless compassion, and profound joy.